right, today is a very special day. I have created my own NBA universe, all times team edition. This is just one of the teams. Hey, we got to go through all 30, right? If you don't know, when I create my own NBA universe is when I put a certain pool of players in the draft and I draft every single team starting 5. Also, get that 33 off of Melo. That is hideous. And with the all-time teams, how I ordered it was by all-time winning percentage. The Minnesota Timberwolves are the worst team of all time with a just over 40% win percentage. So they got the #1 overall pick, and from back to front, you know, you get it. So first up was Minnesota. I drafted Michael Jordan #1 overall. It was between him and some other dude that was born in Akron. Then he had back-to-back picks at the end of second and, you know, beginning of third round. So I got him James Worthy and Alonzo Mourning to fill out the team. He played in college with James Worthy. I thought it'd be a pretty solid, you know, duo to form there. Alonzo Mourning to hold down the paint, because as you'll see, obviously we're in the all-time league with Shaq, Kareem, Hakeem. So there's a lot of fantastic centers. You need a guy at center who can guard people, you know, or at least a big man, a very good big man in this league. And then with his next set of back-to-back picks at the end of fourth and the beginning of the fifth round, I got him Trae Young and Andre Iguodala to fill out the starting lineup. Gives him a little bit more of an asset than normal as his backcourt mate with Trae. Iguodala is still a fantastic defender like how Scotty is. Then these guys are just basically a cherry on the top. By the way, there is no trades allowed in this league, no free agency, no nothing. And actually, the last thing I forgot to do is to make everybody very, very young. 19 years old. They're going to develop, but at the end of the day, we know tendencies, you know, reign supreme over everything. Player becomes a 990 as a 40-shot tendency, might as well be a 82. LeBron James was the second overall pick. There was times where I was considering other people over him and Mike, because I have done simulation before where both of them underperformed, but I decided to go with the obvious too. And as LeBron's second pick, I feel like he always needs a nice guard, you know, a D-Wade, a Kyrie to help him on the scoring load. So Pete Maravich is here. He was the best available to play the 2 and also play some 1. Then after that, I got him Willis Reed with his basically back-to-back pick, near back-to-back, to hold down the big man position. You know, one-time MVP. Shout out to the Knicks. You get Mark Price, another great backcourt player, and while him and Pete Maravich, sure, they're, you know, Mark is pretty decent at defense, at least in the game, but Ron Artest just brings it all together. Yeah, he's gonna play his role, play defense, piss people off. You know, kind of going for the LeBron and Kyrie dynamic here with LeBron and Pete, and you'll get some buckets for everybody else too. Matter of fact, I actually upped Ron Artest's shot tendency. He was at like a 40 when they don't even know. I don't think his stats are on here, but Ron Artest averaged 20 like multiple times, I believe, at least once. And next up, the Brooklyn Nets is where things get tricky. I actually went Magic Johnson #3 overall. I feel like he tends to have a lot of really good 2K simulations. The thing here is that people have said before they enjoy watching me like go through my process of thought with these teams, and with these, you know, it's all-time teams. You're gonna get good teams regardless, but I also want to make a roster that I feel like I could see in real life and be interesting. So with my pick to join Magic Johnson in the second and third round, I got Dave Cowens to hold down the center position, who was, you know, a 2-time champion in the 70s, good player if you don't know. I mean, one-time MVP. And I also got Zion Williamson. Magic Johnson and Zion Williamson pick and roll, pass act, whatever they decide to do. Prime Zion, which may have passed, also he took KD's number, is a fantastic thought. And then obviously you have to cater to the lack of shooting elsewhere. This team's kind of just a fun run and gun type of team. So you get Bradley Beal and Chris Middleton to hold it down on the wing positions. I think that's perfect wings for this team. I would say their one weakness may be a little bit defense, but we ball. They make Magic a way better defender in 2K in real life anyways, than in real life, I should have said. All right, Grizzlies were next up. Memphis with the 4th overall pick. I got them, yes, Hakeem Olajuwon. Now, not only is Hakeem my personal favorite center, who I would say maybe is the most talented, you know, you go a lot of ways with it, but I also think he tends to have the most dominant 2K season. Refer back to in 2020, to be fair, that is multiple 2Ks ago, but I had done like, I put all the 30 best NBA legends in a draft, and I'm pretty sure he dominated that whole simulation against the other 29 greatest players ever. For his second pick, I felt like Vince Carter would be great for him. Obviously, he did win his second ring with Clyde Drexler, and Vince Carter also to space the floor around Hakeem, who Vince Carter obviously is like top 10, top 5 all time in threes made. He did play a long time, but, you know, says a lot about, you know, solid shooting numbers. And then Bob Cousy, he slipped a pretty decent amount over some other point guards, like just for example, like a Kyrie Irving or a Derrick Rose, just because he's old and we don't know as much about how he would translate to the modern game. But at the end of the day, his stats in here are great. I kind of just envision him as a quick point guard to work alongside Hakeem in the pick and roll and so on and so forth. And hell, he did pretty good job with Bill Russell as well. And actually, I drafted them Rashard Lewis, but they want to start Zach Randolph. And there's a couple of teams that I did move the player that they try to start over the guy that I drafted. I moved them to the bench, but Zebo is fine, honestly. He could also kind of chuck a 3 up once every while, but Rashard Lewis, ideally, you know, fantastic floor spacer. Maybe if they're trash, I'll change this in a few years or something. And then Eddie Jones is Eddie Jones, dog. 3 and D, get you a bucket off the dribble, mid-range, you know, late 90s efficient type of guy. Fantastic my team Swiss Army knife to get, which I feel like is one word I'm using a lot. I'm saying I'm using a lot in this video. Kareem went right after Hakeem, and his team is pretty interesting. So I can tell you how the draft went as well. So like Paul Pierce, just to explain how like Baron Davis is here, but Paul Pierce and Penny Hardaway were my next two picks. I believe I had went with Penny first to be, you know, his complimentary point guard, and then Paul Pierce, who I feel like is just a fantastic three, especially as like a third option. Even one of my personal favorite players for that slow, sluggish type of play he had, where he would pump fake and it looked like he was shooting every time, and he'd get a nice, you know, get you jumping and go to the basket. Baron Davis fell a little bit because what happened was the point guards, every team I had drafted a good point guard to, and the market was open for some more. So I decided that Penny was tall enough to play the two, which isn't really debatable. He's 6'7", and him and Baron Davis kind of give you a nice backcourt thing. Also, Penny himself is tall, and so is Paul Pierce. You kind of get like a more quick type of guard with a team with already, you know, a lot of big body players. And then Tom Chambers, I think I actually let him slip a little bit too far, but you know, 83-point shot. This is very good to have on a team with Kareem to space the floor, which is something, spacing was something I prioritized maybe even a little bit too much for 2K. For example, whenever we do a 2K simulation, the Cavaliers of the regular modern day always win every ring, and they have Evan Mobley, Jarrett Allen, hell, sometimes Isaac Okoro, who really can't shoot, at least from down, you know, from three. The Wizards were next up, and Shaq. Now you can see I'm on a bit of a big man spree here. I feel like at this point, you let some other guys fall and take you one of the dominant big men. So Shaq was next up, and him next to Shea is a fantastic, you know, it's just ideal, very ideal, because, you know, obviously he had his best seasons of his career next to Kobe Bryant, as much as they both wanted to be 1A. Paul George was next up. Ironically, the two dudes that we traded for each other in the Clippers and Thunder 47 pick trade, Paul George and Shea. Andre Kirilenko to round out the defense. And then Bill Sharman just fell really far because he's a 6'1" shooting guard who I wouldn't really want as my starting point guard either, but he fits nicely next to the pretty tall Shea. And I feel like Shaq, like Bill Sharman seems like a teammate that Shaq would hold fondly. I don't know why. I could imagine him talking about him on TNT, about like stories about Bill Sharman in the locker room. I don't even know what I'm talking about. These Sacramento Kings have not been too hot the past 17 or so years until this one. Shout out to Domantas Sabonis. He got his bag a few days ago, but it did have the next pick in the draft, which was pretty easily Tim Duncan, one of the most dominant players, 5 rings. And the pairing was way too good to not put him next to Derrick Rose after that commercial they had where they dropped the vase, and we're talking about bouncing off the walls with excitements, or Tim just put the vase on the floor, the vase, whatever you want to call it. And after that, even though it wasn't the best spacing at the pick, I went Jimmy Butler with their third pick, their third round, because sure, you don't really get an insane 3-point shooter at this point, but it's Jimmy Butler and Derrick Rose reunited. I thought it was way too cool to go with. And then after that, Drazen Petrovic, that's how you fix the floor spacing for sure. 98 3-point shot. And Domantas Sabonis, actually, I didn't even realize, I think I might have realized I drafted him to the Kings, but I was thinking about, you know, putting Tim Duncan back at center, and well, he basically is defensively with Sabonis here. But a lot of times, because in this league, you see, it ends up eventually going back to kind of like a mid-90s, you know, like pre-3-point era feel, regardless, because of how many great all-time big men there are. Like, that's just how I imagine the games playing out, you know, when we're simulating and not jumping in and seeing the stupidity of 2K. And the thought of Tim Duncan and Domantas Sabonis both being incredibly smart players, both operating within the arc, would be like really fun to watch. I feel like, because Domantas was averaging like 8 assists this year, and Tim Duncan was one of the best out-of-post players for his generation. Shout out to Jokic. Next up was the New Orleans Pelicans, and this is where I brought Kobe Bryant to. I feel like Kobe tends to disappoint in these simulations very often, but I couldn't resist to pick him at this point. You know, it felt like around that time. I could also like kind of go through like how I went through these picks as well, but I'm so far, I think it's pretty straightforward. Bill Walton was his 2nd round pick to kind of give him, you know, the Shaq era, the Shaq type of big man. Bill Walton's 1 year of dominance was very dominant, and then, you know, broke his whole body as he won MVP and then the championship, I guess, the year before. I actually thought it was the same year. I guess I forgot. That 86 ring barely counts. I mean, he was a backup for the Celtics. Shout out to Robert Parrish, who is also in here, who you'll see. Then next to Kobe, I thought it was only fitting to get him. There's so many possible pairings, but it's cool when you get guys that like are connected at some point within a weird way, like how Derrick Rose and Jimmy Butler were, or Derrick Rose and Tim Duncan. So you get Kobe and Gilbert Arenas. I don't know if Kobe admitted it, but Gilbert's talked about how, you know, he was one of the only people to cook Kobe or like outplay him. I think he dropped 60 on Kobe, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe I'm dragging it, but I'm pretty sure it was something like that. And then you get Paul Arizin, who also, you know, old guy who I kind of let fall pretty far. He's also a 6'3" small forward, but because Kobe's a tall 2, you know, it's perfectly fine. He's got a 93-point shot from the olden eras of he's drafted in 1950, and Larry Johnson to round it out. Just a nice, solid starting 4, basically. That's kind of every team's, you know, 5th player they drafted. It's just, you know, a nice, solid player. For Cleveland, I drafted Larry Bird right after Kobe Bryant. He's now in 99 because I put him to at small forward, and he got at power forward, he got a little bit better. But Larry Bird, you know, Russell Westbrook is a bit of a confusing guy. Obviously, he's limited success in his career, at least in terms of winning in the playoffs, and it's due to like his shooting, lack thereof, IQ issues at time to time. But I feel like Larry Bird would just smack the hell out of him and smack some sense into him whenever Westbrook would get too crazy. Larry Bird's a pretty, you know, down to earth, pretty real. What's the word I'm looking for? Pretty direct, we'll say. Pretty direct. And after that, I got them George Mikan at the center. Obviously, George Mikan, because he's a white center from the 1950s. They just threw a 3-point shot on him, so that's good. Also, you know, Westbrook driving to the rim. And then you got Allen Houston, another fantastic shooter to round out for Sean Marion, who can actually shoot, but that jumper makes me not want him to. It allows Bird or him to play at the 4 because they were both fantastic rebounders, actually. And I like this team a lot. I like, got to get the perfect situation for Russell Westbrook to, like, for me to feel in my mind, like, oh yeah, that's the one. Next up, now this is actually a kind of weird team. Wilt Chamberlain, you know, goes with the next pick. Now, obviously, there's really no rhyme or reason as to why I let him fall a little bit more than like Hakeem or Shaq, especially in 2K, but it was just the vibe, I guess. All in all, the first round is less what matters. It's more the second, thirds, whatever. And Walt Frazier fell kind of far because, you know, and even though I've met the guy, I have some bias for him. You know, he's a Knicks legend. Just lesser 3-point shooting, old era guy. Also not too athletic in terms of dunking or anything. I mean, that really doesn't matter. I'm just throwing that in there as I ramble. But a fantastic defender next to Wilt. And then you get Rick Barry, one of the better scorers of the 70s. I believe he averaged 35 points per game in the mid 70s when he won the ring with the Warriors. Tom Heinsohn was kind of just a throw on here because they gave him a 3-point shot as well. So I thought that'd be good for this team. Manu Ginobili probably will have a bigger role on this team. I mean, it's debatable. He's starting. He is starting. And then I mean, hey, shout out to the benches as well. I haven't really mentioned the benches of any team. The team is going to work, probably. This is a pretty solid team. It's just musty in a way. It's not no flashy except for Wilt. So yeah. Next up, the Pistons. Kevin Garnett, a very beloved peak of a player right here. One of the most dominant all-around players. Quick, was a small forward in his very young career. Even though he was skinny, he switched to power forward and was one of the best defensive and offensive players of all time all at once. I get him #1 overall, and it looked way too perfect to not draft Gary Payton 2nd overall, to have him and KG as a duo. These two trash talking, high energy, high hatred, or let's say competitive spirit on the basketball court. It's just a perfect duo. Then Dominique Wilkins had fell a little bit far because he's not the greatest shooter. You know, he didn't fit a lot of teams. There were some guys that were maybe 93s, 94s that fit teams a little bit better by the 3rd round point. You know what I'm saying? You're looking for a guy. But I felt like he fit this team well enough. Gary and KG can shoot well enough from midi and 3. And then on top of that, to round it all out, you know, to make up for that, you get Jaylen Brown and Karl Anthony Towns. If there's any big man, you know, because Cat had to get drafted eventually. I mean, he could have been a bench player, to be fair. But if there's any big man that he works perfectly next to, you know, he doesn't have to play the 4 anymore like how he does next to Rudy. He could still be a 5, but he's next to Kevin Garnett, who we also played with in real life, but, you know, old. And Jaylen Brown is more of a, you know, mid-range shot creator in comparison to, well, I don't know. They all kind of are. Actually, yeah, they literally all are. So I take that back a little bit. More of, you know, whatever. Okay, he fits the team well. The Raptors were next up, and they got Bill Russell. Now, obviously, this is kind of the point where the draft leaves the portion of elite offensive and defensive players to like, oh, maybe this player lacks a little bit. Like, for example, you know, every player prior to Bill Russell has almost no flaws, you know, almost. So I'm not going to say all. But Bill Russell obviously isn't a great offensive player, which is why he falls down to this spot. But at the same time, it's like you can't let him fall any further because he is the winner. But next to Bill Russell, you need to get a lot of offense. So Kyrie Irving was the next pick. He's going to obviously lead this team offensively alongside Chris Mullin. Will be creating a lot of his shots. Dream team member. Rip Hamilton also joins the team. And then I drafted, actually I might have drafted this guy before Rip, but Blake Griffin was who I drafted. And I decided, even though they picked Elton Brand, I'll let him start. That's a fine player to have as well. It really doesn't. They're interchangeable, honestly. They're going to fill, that's a fine pick because he's going to fill the same role I wanted Blake to fill anyways. Like a good low post scorer, since Bill doesn't want to do that anyways. Or just like a mid-range big man, that type of thing. You know, keep it versatile because these 3 guys are kind of redundant in certain ways. Next up, my New York Knicks. And I picked them, and I know this, okay, this is where, oh my God, Luka Doncic goes number whatever the hell overall. I will say it is top 15. Now, you got to realize, and you're going to see, I did move Luka to small forward, but he's the same overall he was at point guard at 97. You're going to see that there's players like, for example, I'll just say it, Joel Embiid, Nikola Jokic, Luka Doncic, and even like Shea was very high up. These type of guys were like top 15 on the draft board by this point in terms of overall. Now, that didn't mean I was going to automatically guarantee drafting them. I believe Embiid went later in I wouldn't say the draft, but the first round. But we already know this is the thing. This video has to be 75% real life because I'm trying to have fun and make teams that I feel like I can see in real life, but also 25%, oh God, this is the 2K guy. And I couldn't rationalize picking Luka over, you know, knowing what he does in 2K over like Jokic or even Kevin Durant, Stephen Curry. Like Luka is Luka in 2K, you know what I'm saying? And he is the first player kind of out of the barrier of like top all-time greats, super top all-time greats, excluding maybe Steph Curry, but Steph Curry's 6'3", so it didn't really feel right to pick him when I'm picking centers for everybody. So alongside Luka, my next pick for him was a perfect floor spacer in Ray Allen. Just the absolute perfect complementary player, can dribble what he needs to, you know what I'm saying, prime Ray Allen, dunk on people. Artis Gilmore to give a big body in the paint. Obviously, you know, Luka is not the greatest at defense. You need to have someone to help out there. And speaking of defense, Dennis Johnson as well to round it out. He had fell a pretty decent amount. Like I said, the point guard market was, you know, filled out a little bit, and he's not a modern type of guy. Once again, can't dunk, can't shoot, even worse than Clyde Frazier in both of those regards. But a fantastic 80s players for the Celtics, and really a fantastic defender. And that's why I picked him, because Ray Allen and Luka Doncic aren't considered, you know, elite defenders. Ray is obviously better, but, you know, a little bit above average. But I feel like every guy needs that elite. I think he has a 98 perimeter defense in like every single defensive badge, right? Yeah, clamps all. Yeah. And then Chris Bosh rounds it out. Not much to complain about there. Next up is the Golden State Warriors. That's where I drafted a player that I just mentioned a few seconds ago. Nikola Jokic is here, and I love the Jokic team that I built around him, because since they're the reigning champions, why not follow a similar mold to the Nuggets? And well, Jason Tatum was the player that I picked next to Jokic first off, because I feel like Tatum is a big body. As he's gotten older, he gets way more buckets that are like, you know, those bully ball around the rim type of buckets that he'll just catch a pass 3 feet away and dunk over somebody or around somebody, be elusive, whatever. And that's exactly what Aaron Gordon does. And then on top of that, he could also fill the Michael Porter Jr., Jamal Murray role. So that was just my first pick. You know, it's Jason Tatum. You know, these guys could have played against each other in the finals almost, and they're now teammates. Then you get Chauncey Billups, who I feel like is a perfect Jamal Murray archetype. It's you know, the Finals MVP 2004. Elvin Hayes is one of the better power forwards available, because he's not really a floor spacer compared to all these fantastic big men I'm picking. Elvin Hayes himself is a good big man, Hall of Famer and everything, but he fell a little bit. And then I'm like, well, he fits here as well. He could also play the Aaron Gordon type of role with Jokic leading the offense. And then Sam Jones. This is very niche, but I remember Sam Jones from Sub the Gamers 2K13 My Team series. Used to be really like, he just used to love Sam Jones for his shooting. I don't even know if he was a fantastic jump shooter in his, he probably was. I mean, he's always good at shooting in 2K, so you'd assume so. Not the best defender though, which is why, you know, we got great defenders all around him except for Nikola. Very fun to break down these teams that I, you know, carefully constructed. Next up is the Atlanta Hawks. Dirk Nowitzki went here. I feel like he tends to have some pretty dominant runs in 2K. I don't know about dominant. He still needs a great team around him, which is why I gave him prime Jason Kidd instead of very old Jason Kidd, who he had when, you know, he was, well, old, both of them, and won that championship in 2011. Then next to J Kidd, because you didn't have a wing scorer yet, very easily you get Mitch Richmond. Then next to Dirk, you get Ben Wallace, because Ben Wallace is a fantastic defender to, you know, offset Dirk not being the best at that. Also being a slower big man, whereas Ben Wallace is athletically gifted. And then I actually didn't draft Jamal Mashburn. I drafted Joe Johnson, but fundamentally they do pretty similar things. So we'll let it rock. Joe Johnson come off the bench. That's a blessing in itself. We go down the list. We go to the Pacers. After Atlanta, they drafted, or I drafted, Moses Malone, who I actually kind of even regretted letting fall this far. It's weird. He's not the most high profile player, but he won 3 MVPs in his career, won a championship with Dr. J, made all them all-star appearances. A fantastic low post, one of the greatest. Maybe he probably has an argument for the, well, I'm not over like the 60s players, but like over certain guys since his era for the greatest rebounder of all time. Look at this. Early on, he was averaging 25 and 18, still in 1979. And next to him, I had seen that Clyde Drexler had slipped a pretty decent bit. I feel like they could figure it out together, even though they're both pretty inside the arc player in this era. But then after that, you get a very outside the arc player, Donovan Mitchell. Obviously, he could do a lot. He could do a lot. He dropped 70 points. One of the best scorers of the past 6, 7 or so years. Compliment then, give him a real perimeter scorer and also point guard, since he's kind of short, threw him there. World D. Free also really fits that role pretty nicely off the bench. I didn't draft him, but that's cool. Draymond Green as more of a facilitator, defensive player, floor spacer, kind of, because it's prime 2016 Draymond, because Donovan obviously isn't a true point guard, so why not get you basically a point guard at the power forward position? And Kiki Vandeweghe to just hold things together once again, another decent 5th starter, or very solid actually. He had some great seasons, but you know, 89 overall, that's like, you know, average in this league. Next up, as the 14th best team in NBA history, you get Steph Curry going to the Denver Nuggets. And after him, you know, I felt like it'd be interesting to put a fantastic center next to Steph. Obviously they try to do that with like Andrew Bogut and kind of given up ever since, getting just like JaVale or Zaza or whatever, and having Draymond as their, you know, premier quote unquote big man. I mean, he's 6'6". Shout out to Kevon Looney though, actually genuinely one of his best big man teammates ever. But Curry gets Dwight Howard. Peak Dwight Howard is God tier, God mode. I mean, for the love of God, look at these stats when he was you know, around this era. 23, 14, 21 and 14, 21 and like just consistently won 4 DPOYs, I believe, maybe 3. And then next up, you get Klay Thompson. You get Klay Thompson with Steph Curry again, with Dwight Howard at center. Alex English at the 3, not like, I mean, well, he probably can shoot in 2K, but an 80s player who loved the mid-range. Kind of gives me off a Sean Livingston vibe for this team, since, you know, they loved him in real life as well. And then Sean Kemp, just a big body forward to kind of bring it all together. Actually, though, I drafted George McGinnis because I saw that he was a little bit better of a shooter and was kind of like that Draymond archetype Swiss Army knife. Once again, I use that word defend. Well, 60 perimeter isn't that crazy, but he's kind of quick. Oh my God, am I just wrong about everything? Hey, he's not starting anyways. I drafted him though. Sean Kemp kind of fits that same role. The Dallas Mavericks are next up. I drafted Kevin Durant right after Steph. Those two, and actually the next guy as well, are pretty interchangeable in my opinion. They also all aren't guaranteed greats in 2K. They sometimes, I feel like especially KD tends to fold in 2K for some reason. Even with good teams, like I feel like whenever I do a simulation, whenever he gets traded somewhere or something, they don't win anything. But next to KD, you get a multi-time champion, Isaiah Thomas, 95 overall, one of the best point guards of all time. He actually slipped a decent amount, but I feel like he fits perfectly next to KD, gives the exact thing this team needs. Their next pick was a great center, Pau Gasol, to kind of hold down the middle, but also space the floor. And I feel like at a Pau Gasol, Isaiah Thomas pick and roll could be interesting. Two great mid-range shooters. And next pick was a must for this team, especially with Pau at center, a kind of weaker built center. You get Dennis Rodman, who ain't spacing the floor, but it doesn't matter. You got 4 other solid mid-range to 3-point floor spacers on this team. And then Cliff Hagan, who I think was a small forward. I made him a shooting guard because he's 6'4". Fantastic shooter, space the floor, do your job, simple. Atlanta Hawks legend. Next up, goes over to the Chicago Bulls, who obviously have their, win record bolstered by the Jordan era. And with there, once again, like I said, Giannis, I didn't say his name straight flat out, but Giannis, Curry, and KD probably all could have been interchangeable in this draft, considering what you value. Giannis does tend to be, mediocre. I feel like every modern day simulation I do, the Bucks somehow tank immediately and lose all their picks because they traded him to the Pelicans. So alongside Giannis, I knew that fantastic defender might win some DPOIs, maybe not over Bill Russell, but you're gonna need some good help with him. So Damian Lillard's here, Joe Dumars is here, Boogie Cousins is here. This is probably the perfect spot for Boogie Cousins. Same way kind of like a Pau Gasol with Dennis Rodman, or like a Sabonis with Tim Duncan. You know what I'm saying? You get a player that isn't as good at defense, but you put him next to one of the best defenders of all time. Or like Cat next to KG. You know what I'm saying? You see the mold. Joe Dumars as well, fantastic perimeter defender, also a scorer, 6'3". Damian Lillard used to play next to a short guard like CJ McCollum as well. Could handle the ball himself, and he'll help out Dame on the defensive end. And then Glenn Rice to kind of keep the floor space and everything. Boogie can as well, but more so. He might have, he has an 83-point shot, so yeah, he'll be good. And they also drafted Brad Daugherty. I actually didn't draft him to a team, but I almost did. He's a real solid, 7-foot big body if need be. The Houston Rockets had Dwayne Wade. This team was a bit interesting to build. So after Dwayne Wade, I got Bob Pettit, who was one of the best players of all time, accolade-wise. In his era, won 2 MVPs, won, I believe, the only championship in Hawks history, as well as all the All-Star appearances. Basically the best, maybe arguably, one of the best players of the 50s, basically. But as you know, if you've ever played with Bob Pettit in 2K any year ever, they give him fantastic shooting stats, which isn't too far-fetched, I would assume, which is perfect next to Dwayne Wade, basically. You need a big who can kind of play the inside-out game, kind of like a Chris Bosh, ironically, but Chris Bosh on crack. And next up, the market was kind of dry at this point, and I'm like, screw it. We're going to just terrorize the rim. Keep the floor space. This is a new game plan. Keep the floor space and terrorize the rim. We get Ja Morant and Dwayne Wade, both decent 3-point shooters, but more so we're going to be, carving out lanes for them to get to the basket. So we get Brook Lopez at the center here in Houston, and Lou Hudson at the small forward, who is a 88 3-pointer, nice silky smooth 2K jump shot. And screw it, if you ever want shot creation, Kemba Walker off the bench and Julius Randle. Oh, and Kevin Martin, perfect floor spacing for this team. Jason Terry too, not even playing. CJ McCollum, Michael Porter. Oh, they got it. They knew the assignment. Look at Bobby Porter's goggles. Look at that. He's ready. Or glasses, whatever you want to call them. Next up, despite the very successful Dr. J and slightly successful Allen Iverson eras, the Philadelphia 76ers, which I showed you at the beginning, I had to use as an example. I got Oscar Robertson with their first-round pick, one of the greatest point guards of all time, probably a top 15, top 17 player of all time, but just so happened to fall a little bit in here based off of talent and eras, a lot of stuff. Not too far leaning towards our era, but still regardless. Also a point guard, which was what I was valuing a little bit less in the first round, because I also knew that there was guys like Derrick Rose and Kyrie Irving, and if you draft a big man, you pair him with one of those guys, it's like you're gonna be elite regardless. So you get Oscar Robertson, who's a fantastic all-around player, obviously the Mr. Triple-Double before Russell Westbrook stole his crown, basically. And next to him, because you need a little more reliable, scorer consistently, you get Carmelo Anthony, who basically, I don't know why I'm thinking of Oscar's era, but would have been like Elgin Baylor scoring wise of that era. And then because Melo's not the greatest at defense, next pickup, I got Dikembe Mutombo to hold down the paint, one of the best defenders of all time. Dave DeBusschere also has some pretty great all-around stats, a Knicks legend. He has pretty good interior defense, overall defense, 92 steal, good shooting stats, so he just spaces the floor nicely. And then Gail Goodrich, a bucket getter from the same era as Oscar Robertson, basically. I feel like he actually, though, yeah, he played into the 70s a little more with, drawing a blank on what the Lakers are running with in the 70s, but I know they were still making some finals appearances. Bobby Jones, who I was about to say, I believe is a Sixer legend. This is a good pick as well, because I actually didn't draft him because he cannot shoot the basketball and is a small forward, but I'm pretty sure, yeah, his expertise is defense, which, you know, if Carmelo Anthony's ever failing, then screw it, sub in a defender. Let Oscar cook. I know I'm probably taking longer than usual going through these teams, but it's fun to, you know, go through an all-time team. Next up, the Miami Heat. Yeah, Kawhi Leonard is their first round pick. One of my favorite players of all time. I feel like one of the most underrated, underappreciated, but still appreciated a pretty decent amount because of his multiple finals MVPs and fantastic season with the Raptors, most notably, as well as 2017, where he, you know, we're not going to get too far into it. But after Kawhi Leonard, the perfect player next to him, I feel like it's just James Harden, dog. Kawhi Leonard and James Harden, there's not much explaining to be do there. Robert Parrish, a big body, reliable championship winner throughout the entire 80s. Sidney Moncrief, I saw the opportunity here. He was available. And Sidney Moncrief, if you don't know, I want to say was the first guard or even just one of the first DPOYs ever. And I remember I was actually going pretty in depth here. For sure, he doesn't space the floor, you know, often, but you look at his seasons in his career where he was shooting more threes, and he was actually a pretty decent shooter. You know, it's not a huge amount, but for the 80s, it is. 100 threes, made 33, shot over 30%. Not bad. I see potential. They gave his card a 75-3, him next to Harden and Kawhi Leonard, who could both space the floor. And then LaMarcus, who actually his card can as well, has the chemistry with Kawhi, actually has the chemistry with Harden a little bit from the Nets days, but nobody really played around that time anyways. And yeah, good team, good solid team. Milwaukee Bucks, I was actually surprised to see them this high up, I guess, in winning percentage. To be fair, they do have the Kareem and Oscar era and now the Giannis era. And they got thou who shall not be named, Mr. Karl Malone, who I just named. Sorry. Look, personal stuff aside, Buddy was a powerhouse of an NBA player, obviously second, now third all time in scoring. And I didn't even just let him fall. You know, we're cordial, we're adults here, you know, maybe not. Some of you are. Adults probably isn't the best word to mention around Karl Malone, but only reason he even fell a little bit in the draft was because he, you know, struggled pretty vastly in the playoffs. But overall, look at these stats: 31, 29, 28, 27, 25, 27, 26, 27, 20. Like, then alongside him, you get another fundamental point guard like how John Stockton was. You get Tony Parker, who obviously helped alongside Tim Duncan when I believe he won 4 championships. He wasn't there in 99, but it's good to get a point guard with championship pedigree. John Havlicek, another player with a hell of a lot of championship pedigree, 8-time NBA champion, one of the best scorers of all time. He was the leader in missed shots all time until Kobe took the record. I remember when that happened. But guess what? That means he's a bucket getter. That's all that means. I don't care. 21 points on 44% for his career with no three-point line. At 6'5", a true bucket getter. Then you get Bob Lanier, kind of solid big man. Asia to space the floor. You know, you kind of need, Malone's a little bit undersized to play center, so you need a real solid, you know, 6'11" big man alongside him. And there you go. Nice team. Portland Trailblazers actually are up next. They've had, you know, it's weird because they've never been in like a tanking era. They just kind of very quickly always find their way back into the spotlight, at least like mediocrity spotlight. And I drafted them David Robinson in their first round, one of the most dominant. It could have been a toss-up between him and Karl Malone for that pick, the last pick. One of the most dominant centers ever. Obviously didn't win a ring or nothing until Tim Duncan came around, but still dropped 71, won an MVP, and matter of fact dropped 71 in the last game of the season to make sure he won the scoring title over Shaq, a true dog. Correct me if I'm wrong on that. I'm pretty sure I'm right. After them though, John Stockton, you know, he's not a wing scorer, so you got to get the man who was once donned the next Michael Jordan, like half the NBA was in the 90s because they were looking for the next Michael Jordan so much. Grant Hill, who obviously had his injuries, but in 1999, I believe, averaged 25 points per game, so that gives you a guy, you know, on the wing to actually lead the team from that place. Richie Guerin's a great shooter, at least in 2K, you know, didn't actually play with a three-point line, floor spacer, Knicks legend. And then Jaren Jackson Jr. actually was my pick, the defensive player of the year. I drafted him over. They drafted Dan Issel, who I threw to the bench because I actually rather Jaren Jackson Jr. play here. I did not have Dan Issel drafted because 6'9" power forward, can't shoot the three, just didn't fit any of the teams that I was building, really. So he's a bench player now for this team. And hey, not a terrible fit here. Also not the best though, I'm not gonna lie. For Dan Issel, that is. I like the team. The team is fine. David Robinson and Stockton pick and pop will be fantastic, or pick and roll, whatever you want to call it. I guess I didn't adjust the rotation for this team, but there you go. For the OKC Thunder, their first round pick, I believe I went with Jerry West. And this is a very old looking team right here. Jerry West, Kevin McHale, one of the best post players of all time. David Thompson, another man who dropped 70 points in his very limited prime. He was in, you know, the crack era and everything, and it was rusty. Wes Unseld is a fake floor spacer because they just handed him that. The rookie of the year in his, the MVP in his rookie season. That's what he's known for. And then Marcus Johnson to kind of fill it out, a Hall of Famer. Dude I see every year on social media posting that he could still dunk at 73 years old or something like that. It's always high 60s, whatever. And they kind of gave him a 3-ball as well, so he spaced the floor. It's this team embraces being the old team. That's about it. And they did it even more by drafting Adrian Dantley without my permission. And they got LaMelo Ball, so that's where you get some flair. But Jerry West should be one of the best shooters in this league. So it's not even just 2K. He said himself recently on the Paul George podcast, he he said, hey, I'd be a good shooter. I could hit shots from outside. And I agree. I mean, he hit a shot from half court to win a finals game, I'm pretty sure. And it only counted for 2. Imagine hitting a shot from half court, it counts for 2. I mean, he knew that, but the next pick, one of the best small forwards of all time, Mr. Dr. Julius Erving, the trendsetter. I can't tell you earlier than this, but I would say Elgin Baylor, then Dr. J kind of just formatted the, you know, small forwards forever. Honestly, you could argue him going as high as like 15th. I think I even debated it. Everything after, like, I'm telling you, everything after Bill Russell was like, yo, it's up in the air. But I will say, he does have something to prove to me. I don't know how many times I've seen Dr. J dominate in simulations. I feel like I maybe seen it once. So that's why maybe he fell a little bit in the draft, but Dr. J is here alongside a fantastic facilitator for him, Steve Nash. They'll have this little run and gun, and I think they can run that, you know, 8-second offense, the Mike D'Antoni around here, because he also got some pretty quick big men. Crazily enough, Nate Thurman has a 75 speed. I actually don't remember if I drafted Nate Thurman or Bob McAdoo, but they wanted to start Nate, so I'll let him rock. They're both very quick big men. You got John Starks run and gun, chucking up threes, especially in this era, was one of the first 3-point chuckers. And then on top of it all, Amari Stoudemire with Steve Nash again, and they're in Phoenix. I like to see him a lot. Very nice. The Suns are the 5th best team of all time. And actually, speaking of well, Karl Malone and John Stockton, the Jazz, crazily enough, with I believe no championships, are the 4th best record of all time NBA history with a 54% win percentage. Now they are a step below everybody else. The last 3 are in the elite tier, which I'll get into in a second, but I got them Chris Paul in the first round. Chris Paul, one of the most dominant players ever, especially in 09. I know dominant doesn't sound like the right word for him, but in 09, Chris Paul, like, you know, which is what this is probably reflected on, 23 points, 6 rebounds, 11 assists, 3 steals, 50% from the field, 36 from 3, and then continued on that kind of realm of dominance for the next 10 or so years, at least from the point guard position. You know, dominance relative to his position. Obviously, ringless guy. I guess I didn't help out too much by drafting Tracy McGrady second, but I felt like a Tracy McGrady, Chris Paul backcourt would be really cool. Chris Paul, the thing is a lot of his career went, okay, we're going to have Chris Paul, and then we're going to have a big man. That's really good, right? And obviously, he also did have James Harden, but I feel like James Harden at that point, they traded for Chris Paul, was already very on the ball. And T-Mac, while he's an on-ball player, could be developed into more of a, you know, I'll get a screen and hit a mid-range floppy shot or a 3-pointer or whatever, you know, just develop to mold better, you know, alongside Chris Paul. Hell, even James Harden could, but we know what that was in real life, so that'd be ugly to watch in 2K. Then alongside them, the Chris Paul and Yao Ming pick and roll will be devious. They did draft Mel Daniels, but I don't care. I picked Yao for them. Kevin Love will space the floor. And also, Yao Ming is not known as one of the best rebounders. I took this into consideration. You know, despite being tall, not an insane rebounder for his height, Kevin Love actually is, for his height. I mean, 15 rebounds a game in 2011, his 3rd season, if I just read that correctly. And then Gordon Hayward to round it all out back in Utah. And lastly, down to the final 3, as I'm almost an hour into this and still reading off teams. Well, hour into my recording, not you probably. This is edited. The Boston Celtics. I didn't realize I drafted JoJo White here, but he is the Celtics legend. Screw it, we'll start with him. He had fell a little bit in the draft because, you know, you don't know too much about JoJo White. You just know he's a supporting cast player to Bill Russell. I believe when I watched the Bill Russell documentary, and I believe him and Bill went to college together. It says Kansas. I don't know. Maybe I'm tweaking. It might have been either him or KC Jones, I believe. I know those were their 2 guards, but yeah, he's there. Actually, I might be tweaking. Yeah, no, I'm tweaking because JoJo White. No. I'm actually the one messing up because he was the one around the Dave Cowens era. So yeah, no, that was completely wrong tangent there, but happy I caught myself. But nonetheless, okay, forget JoJo White for a second. Their 1st round pick was someone who I was just giving praise to, Elgin Baylor, actually of a similar 10 years earlier type of era. One of the first elite scoring small forwards. Look at these stats real quick. 38 points, 19 rebounds. I personally believe there's guys like Elgin Baylor, Jerry West, and obviously a lot of the big men of that era that were, you know, dominant, like a Bill Russell or Wilt, that I don't care if you say they played against who, this, there, or that. You put them in the modern era with the modern training and all that stuff. They might not be averaging 40 and 20 at 6'5", but they'd still be good NBA players, if not great. Alongside Elgin, I brought in Anthony Davis. I actually envisioned him being the starting center because he could space the floor a little bit for Elgin. But then I ended up getting Sabonis later on, who, screw it, you know, AD doesn't really like playing center anyways, and Sabonis could space the floor himself. AD could guard the better, you know, offensive player if need be. And Devin Booker to kind of round it out. And once again, to harp on this again, JoJo White, just good overall stats. Nothing really to complain about here. 94 overall, kind of slipped, as you can see, by them having another 94 overall player. Oh yeah, and Jermaine O'Neal off the bench is a pretty great pick post my drafting as well. Second to last, and I wonder if you can tell which team is missing. So the Celtics and this team, the Lakers actually have a tied winning percentage of 0.592 exactly. Both of them as of today. Honestly, I'm not even sure Wikipedia determined which one was better or worse, but we ball. With their first round pick, I got them Joel Embiid, another big man who I let slip a little bit because, you know, regardless if he's had, which by the way, when I say slip, some people might be like, why is he picked so high? But he's a 97. I've been seeing him at the top of the board actually since like pick 12. He's actually a higher ranked player than Jokic and Luka as of right now because he won MVP. 2K guessed the hell out of his stats, which he also does deserve for the regular season, which makes him a fantastic, perfect player to build your team around in this type of league where you need a big man who can do a lot of things. But alongside him, you're still gonna need some firepower. Allen Iverson's not gonna let him down, hopefully. Get him fantastic, you know, point guard scorer. Then you get George Gervin, the man who they used to call, you know, they used to say KD was the modern day George Gervin, even though George Gervin's 6'7", but close enough. Just real smooth players, fantastic scorers. Dolph Shea is another one of those very old 1948 drafted players. They made him into a stretch big that works perfect next to this team with Allen Iverson and ideally Joel Embiid playing a little bit more inside the arc, and George Gervin as well. And then Victor Oladipo, just another ball handler, serviceable too, good defender as well, since George Gervin and Allen Iverson both aren't like elite defenders, but Oladipo honestly is when he's at his best. And lastly, if you haven't figured it out yet, it is actually a team that has over 2,000 less games than the Lakers and Celtics. The San Antonio Spurs have the best win percentage of all time at 60%. And with their first round pick, well, actually they had back-to-back every time, which is pretty nice to build out their team. I got Scottie Pippen and Patrick Ewing. I felt like this was perfect to kind of sculpt a team out with this type of, first of all, it's funny because they had the rivalry the entire 90s. Pippen was dunking on Ewing every other year, but you get another fantastic defensive dominant 90s center, and then the man who won 6 championships alongside the guy who went #1 overall. Nate Archibald is in his peak, averaging 30 and 10 in his peak, which is probably what this player is reflected upon, you know, 34 and 11 right here. He was the first player to ever do this. How the hell did he average 0 rebounds? I don't know. Can I see how many rebounds he actually grabbed? Do they have it on here? I think I passed it. Oh, it just says 0. Did he really have 0? Is that even? I don't think that's is that possible? I'm gonna have to look it up online after this. Someone let me know actually, because I'm gonna forget. And then you get Jerry Lucas, who also fell a decent amount, a good shooter, mid-range shooter back in the day, now turned 3 shooter because, well, he's, you know, modern era. Just kind of space out the floor for Scottie Ewing, you know, floor spacing, you know, vital. And honestly, one of the better shot creators on the team will be Michael Redd at the 2 position. They also brought in Tyrese Halliburton off the bench. Dale Ellis, I actually thought about maybe drafting for this team. Wait, that's actually pretty good. I think I wanted to draft Dale Ellis instead of Michael Redd. It was either him or Michael Redd, so that's good. And then Billy Cunningham fell pretty far. He's a 93 overall on the bench, and I'm not really sure why. I guess yeah, he's not really great at anything. Looking at it, he's not a great defender. He's not a great shooter. So that is what it is. 6'6" rebounder, basically. Oh, there goes Charles. That's crazy. Actually, they drafted Charles Oakley. Because I was just about to say, I remember there was a quote that Charles Oakley didn't rock with Ewing anymore, and maybe it's because he rocks with Pippen so much. Like I've mentioned before a few times that I went to a little like not convention, but a little event thing where it was Scottie Pippen and Charles Oakley answering questions together because they were like friends from the Bulls and everything. And that's kind of a cool player to draft this team as well. He'll be getting minutes. So that is it. That is every single team. Went through pretty detailed. So there you go. You're locked in. As of right now, if I go over to a team or whatever, something, this looks kind of default. They said they got the I mean, they're all great teams. Lakers, Celtics, Spurs, Bulls, Warriors is their top teams. They got the Lakers as well, and they got the Raptors. Eric's got the Raptors. He likes the Bill Russell, Kyrie pairing. I honestly have no clue where this will go. And let me make sure all my settings are good before I simulate. I know this is kind of niche, but I'm putting every single team on the balanced system proficiency, so they're all at even playing field. I feel like that's pretty good, at least for year 1. I might forget to do this again if like coaches get fired. There you go. Every team's on it, and yeah, we're good. Make a little mental note if you remember all the teams or you forgot them already, who you think will win the most or whatever. This will be a 10-year simulation. The all-star captains, look at that. 2 players I invested in, you know what I'm saying? Hakeem Olajuwon, KG, maybe a little bit higher than some people would, but they are the all-star captains. And you got LeBron James, Magic Johnson, Jerry West, Julius Erving, T-Mac, who was a 2nd-round pick, with Oscar, Wilt, and Larry. I think everybody else except for T-Mac was all first-rounders. And you got James Worthy, Vince Carter, Isaiah Thomas, Walt Frazier, Dwayne Wade, Bill Russell, Kareem, Tim Duncan, Kobe, Karl Malone, Elgin Baylor, Westbrook, Scottie, and Penny Hardaway. Screw it. I just felt like reading them all out for the first year. We ball. You got to do things without thought sometimes. The Cavaliers are 37 and 17. Now the Cavaliers, they are not the best team. It is the Thunder, the old school, the heart of the old school team. Would you look at that? Are the best team in the league with 40 wins. I love to see it. Wouldn't have been my first bet, but I'm not surprised at either. And then the Russell Westbrook and Larry Bird team is cooking. I'm liking how this is looking a lot. Then the Wizards with Shaq and Shea. That's that. Now the thought of Shaq with Shea and Paul George cooking on the perimeter and AK-47 playing defense, Andre Kirilenko. Then you got the Suns with Nash, Amari, Julie. Yeah, this is beautiful. This is great basketball. basketball. Now, who's trash? Oh, by the way, didn't even mention this, but not doing draft classes, at least for the beginning. I might end up, what's crazy is maybe like year 7, which also wouldn't affect too much. I might end up throwing in draft classes, and maybe I was actually thinking about doing trades, but I would do them. So like I could trade, you know, if one team's failing for the past 10 years and we see it consistently, you know what I'm saying? Like, let's say, which actually, oh, it's not the Sixers. Sixers are doing great. But let's say in 2 years from the Celtics, that actually might just be the only thing I do. Let's say in 2 years, I'm like, oh, well, I guess I drafted pretty garbage for the Celtics. Let's trade Elgin Baylor for, you know, to another trash team that, you know, just mix things up. Why not? Like, yeah, Hakeem is the all-star starter, but his team is terrible right now. And matter of fact, on that note, this is what I'm talking about. This is why I make the picks. Oh, well, Rashard Lewis and Zach Randolph are both in the negatives, but man, put Zach Randolph on the bench if this ain't working, with all due respect. And I didn't even mention that he got drafted back to the Grizzlies, but you might have seen it because, you know, you have, well, whenever I go to say like you have eyes or something, I remember that one, and this, you know, I'm a decent person. I remember the one dude who had told me, like, who had added me on Twitter. I might have mentioned the video like a year ago or 6 months ago or something about how he's literally blind and just likes the videos. So I don't ever want to, you know what I'm saying? Hey, man, we are all inclusive. You might be deaf. You might be reading the video in Morse code somehow, just wiping the screen with your hand. Okay, I'm sorry. Oh, wait, no. Morse code's not that. That's hieroglyph. Wait, what am I thinking of? Oh, Braille. Braille. I'm over here Googling it, and it just came to me. Okay, there you go. Yeah, you could be reading this in Braille. Shout out to the people that just learn sign language for no reason. Oscar Robertson, that Sixers team I just mentioned, next to Melo, wins MVP. 23, 7, and 10 a game. Bob McAdoo, 6th man of the year. Bill Russell, defensive player. Anthony Davis, most improved. Mark Dagnall. Someone told me after I said I figured out how to say his name that I was saying it wrong, even though I listened to Sam Presti say it. So screw it. We're both gonna be wrong. And that took way too long to explain how, you know what, whatever. Oscar Robertson, Russell Westbrook, Luka Doncic, Elgin Baylor, and Jokic. That is a beautiful first team. That is literally the triple-double first team. And Elgin, I wouldn't say a triple-double, but hell, he's 30-20, so close enough. Also, yeah, it says he averaged 0 rebounds as well. Why is this? Second team is Penny, Jerry West, KG, Dr. J, and Hakeem. Third team is Magic, James Harden, Karl Malone, LeBron, and Will. So as I maybe expected, no Michael Jordan. I wouldn't say I expected it, but I'm not surprised by it, especially in the league this pack. He did make the defensive first team, though. He averaged 21, 5, and 6. Now, this is obviously Michael Jordan with 99 shot tendencies, so he must be deferring to somebody. So for the playoffs, oh, the play-in still exists? Yeah, don't care. Goodbye, play-in. Goodbye. See ya. Thunder won 61 games, led by that old man team that I just talked about recently. Matter of fact, and the Sixers ended up taking #1 with Melo, Oscar Robertson, Gail Goodrich, Dave DeBusschere to get some buckets, and Dikembe to hold down the paint. Let's see who else filled out. Okay, so Luka Doncic and the Knicks are here with the defensive Dennis Johnson, Ray Allen, Artis Gill. I'm not gonna go too crazy. Wilt Chamberlain and the Magic made it. Dirk and the Hawks, Kareem and the Hornets. This is better than you would think. As also the 10th seed Pacers, the worst seed that could possibly be in the play-in, made it to the playoffs with Donovan Mitchell, Draymond Green, Moses Malone. So a lot of the best stars made it, although Kawhi and James Harden missed it. Kawhi was a bit of a later pick though. Oh yeah, and like right here, I see that Kawhi is a 98 now. I believe it was a 97. I turned off player morale, but there's definitely going to be progression to some. I mean, they're 19 again. So I'm actually going to try something interesting. This shouldn't ruin the league anyways if it doesn't work. What if I go to all players, go to their peak start? Like, you know how this like it delays like when they like, you know, hit their peak. They hit their peak. What if I made this like 19 for all of them? You know what I'm saying? Okay, well that didn't really work because it wasn't in unison. But so I feel like if I did that, this might be a bit too tedious though. I don't know if I really got time for this. I just went over teams for like an hour. Yeah, I'm good. I'll be all right. On the western side of things, neither the 9th or 10th seed made it, but the Suns made it. The Lakers, led by Embiid and Iverson, pretty solid duo. Obviously the Sixers duo, which I don't think I ever mentioned. The Scottie Pippen and Patrick Ewing duo. The Chris Paul and T-Mac. And also I never mentioned as well, T-Mac and Yao reunited. I just kind of went straight to Chris Paul and Yao being cool. Kobe Bryant actually made it with his you know, nice team around him. There's actually a lot of times where I didn't even mention this earlier, but we'll see Bill Walton just randomly win MVPs and stuff in these simulations. So he definitely will have a solid impact. Kobe also, I just saw average 7.4 assists, which actually led the team. He averaged more than Gilbert. Oh, the Derrick Rose, Tim Duncan, Jimmy Butler led team made it. Jokic's Warriors, who actually starting Dave Bing. I didn't want that to happen. I want Chauncey Billups to start. You are disobeying my rules. Get to the bench, Dave Bing. And let's see like what teams disappointed, you know, heavily disappointed. The Denver Nuggets, the Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, that didn't work out this year. Michael Jordan disappointed. Hakeem Olajuwon, which we saw a little while ago. D-Wade and Ja experiment isn't working thus far, and KD isn't either. And then the David Robinson and LeBron James also missed it. He was the 9th seed, which isn't terrible, but you know. Chicago though was the worst team in the league, led by, as I expected. I tried to offset it, get him some great teammates, but Giannis Giannis's team was terrible. He averaged great numbers, so it seems, but team didn't. I don't know. They started starting Jim Jackson over Joe Dumars. Honestly, dog, I don't think that's going to change a whole lot. And yeah, that team with JoJo White was trash. Wow, the KG team was trash. That's surprising. Bill Russell and Kyrie Irving wasn't too great. Karl Malone as well wasn't too great. And then Magic Johnson missed it in the play-in game, and so did Kawhi and James Harden. So yeah, all right, time for the playoffs. You know, these are fantastic simulations. By the way, if I go here, should not be any type of injury report. No injuries in this, no nothing. It's straightforward. I want to see how the teams do. Simple as that. Oh man, Hawks get eliminated. Knicks are out of here. Jazz, Pacers, Hornets, Kings, Warriors, and Pelicans. Let's see, a game 7 between the Suns and the Pelicans. So that's obviously the Steve Nash, Amari team, which both of them actually just kind of had okay games. Julius Erving, Dr. J was really carrying, and they beat Kobe. And that was the only close series. Every other series was either sweep or 4-1. The Magic upset the Knicks, which is the Luka Doncic team get upset by Wilt. Maybe well, I drafted Wilt over Luka, so I'm not gonna say I regret that. Like, there's nothing to regret. Yeah, okay. Lakers are out of here. Spurs are out of here. Sixers are out of here, and Cavs are out of here. Wow, no game 7s except for that one Kobe series. And in the conference finals, the Wizards, it is Shaq, Shea, and Paul George against Wilt, Rick Barry, and Walt Frazier. That is a very good matchup. Obviously, Shaq was like a top 5 pick, and Wilt was more like 9-10, so he got a little bit better of a team, better of overall of supporting cast. And you got Steve Nash, Amari, Dr. J, and Otis Birdsong is starting against Dr. J, the old, not the old team. I said Dr. J for Jerry West. Sorry, that's funny. Why are they starting Otis Birdsong? Oh, it's starting him over John Starks. John Starks was a 6th man of the year at one point. Hey, these are all my teams. If I want to make a change, I could, but yeah, Otis and John Starks are both playing pretty well, so we'll let it rock. Are these all gonna be blowouts as well? So far, 2-0 in both, 2-1 over there, 3-0, 3-1. And the Suns are out of here. Wizards and Magic will go to a game 7. I've never seen this many like clean near sweeps. Oh my, the Magic are smoking them. Goodbye, Shaq. Wilt is champ of the East. Wilt Chamberlain Finals MVP, and he will actually play against the man who I believe he got his 2nd ring with. I think Wilt has 2 rings. I want to say he won 1 before the Lakers. I don't think he won 2. He might have won 2 with the Lakers. I know he has 2 total. That's all I know. And did Wilt really not win a ring alone? I don't know. But either way, Walt Frazier actually, who was the man that carried and had probably undebatably the best game 7 in finals history until LeBron in 2016 against Wilt and Jerry West in 1970, I believe 1 or 70, when Willis Reed got injured and Clyde dropped, Clyde Frazier dropped like 40, 10 and 10 almost. It was some crazy stuff. I don't know about 10 and 10, but they had some battles, and these teams are going to match off. Now they also got a bit of a big man disadvantage. Tom Gugliotta against Kevin McHale, but we ball. Pretty solid finals. You can't really get a bad one in this league though. Hey man, I guess this is a good time. I just took like a quick recording intermission because they dropped that new Instagram fake Twitter app called Threads. My ad on there is just the same as my Instagram. Hell, it's just linked to Instagram. But it's funny because it's just bare bones. It just looks like Instagram, but minus the requirement for fit pictures, I guess. I don't know. Barry and Chamberlain had a great combination of games, and the Magic win game 1 led by those two. Thunder will come back and take game 2. Everybody held to under 22 on the Magic, whereas Adrian Dantley off the bench dropped 27 and LaMelo had 18. I do not know how long my mic was muted for, but don't think it was that long. It is currently, now it is 2-1 Magic in the finals. Rick Barry, Wilt Chamberlain, Walt Frazier all put together great games. Now Twitter has been tweaking out recently. They put a limit on how many tweets you could view the other day, but then they removed it, I think. I don't know. They're tweaking out, and it was the first day of free agency too. It was very annoying. 24, 9 and 10 from Wilt, and 25 and 15 from Jerry West. The Thunder win to tie it up 2-2. Game whatever the hell, and a win by the Magic. They take a 3-2 lead. That's Wilt Chamberlain's team indeed. Also, DeMonte Ginobili had 25 and 10, and the Magic are going to win the NBA championship in just what was that, 6 games, 5 games? No, I think it was 6. Yeah, Marcus Johnson led the Thunder in scoring. I thought it was Magic for a second, but Walt Frazier 31 and 9, Wilt Chamberlain 22-12. 2 of the older teams, actually 2 of the oldest teams in this league, and they face up, and Walt Frazier is the finals MVP. Look at that. Look at my dog. The first year of 10 years. There he is. I also never did this during the season. So for the season leaders, it was Wilt with 24 points per game, Bill Russell with 12 rebounds, Steve Nash with 14 assists, just over 2.2 steals for, 2.3 for Walt Frazier, 3.4 blocks for Alonzo Mourning, 69% from the field from Bill Russell, 52% from 3 from Paul Westphal. Kirk Lopez pretty high up here though, spacing the floor for that team that I drafted him too. And then for the playoff stats, it was, well, first round Moses Malone, but out of anybody that played more than 10 games, far and away, yeah, Wilt Chamberlain. Oh, my controller just died. And then Kevin McHale. But yeah, it was basically Wilt's playoff run. So yeah, that's year number 1. Although Walt Frazier won Finals MVP. A lot of old bastards retired, even though they're young, but fake old. I don't know. They're not on teams. Goodbye, Kendrick Perkins. You could commentate this league or whatever you want to call it. Analyze. Oh, Popovich. I'll let Popovich stick around. Draft lottery for nothing. The Pistons, Nuggets, Blazers, Grizzlies, and Bulls. And let me just double check. I was literally looking. Yeah, there's nobody. And yeah, so NBA salaries are not on. Look at how fast this free agency is going to go when it comes around. Also, teams might draft players and then drop their, yeah, look at that. Free agency didn't even happen. By any chance did they might have dropped some of their players for these 40 overall guys. Oh, never mind. Maybe that'll be next year. Actually, they're probably going to just drop the 40 overalls for more 40 overalls. Shout out to life. And for when it comes to progression, so yeah, like James Worthy went up by 3. It's not going to affect too much. They're already all 90 plus overall. So how much better can they really get, you know, once you hit, yeah, I don't know, basketball. Although it is interesting. Who's the best players now? We got Oscar at a 99, Karl Malone, Larry Bird, LeBron, Hakeem. A lot of 99s, but hey, you know, we're already 98s anyways. We ball. All-star teams, Hakeem and Karl Malone are the captains, and T-Mac made it from the 2nd round of the draft. So did Bob Cousy, actually. I think Bob Cousy was 3rd round of the draft. He is now a 99, putting up 15 and 11. At least he's not, you know, dropping 30 on everybody. And yeah, pretty solid. You know, the only thing I'll ever feel bad about is if there's someone I didn't draft, like a 6th round player makes it. Unless it was like Tyrese Halliburton or LaMelo or something, because, you know, they're like young players that you expect them to get much better. And I'm not gonna wait till check till the end, but anybody like far and away better than everybody? Yep, Thunder are 42 and 12 again, so they didn't win, but they're looking for their get back. The Magic are also yet again the best team in the East. Very interesting. Russell Westbrook wins most valuable player next to Larry Bird in Cleveland, Earl Monroe 6th man of the year, Bill Russell DPOY, Joel Embiid most improved player, and Mark Dagnall, right? Yeah, wins coach of the year in OKC. Westbrook, Oscar, the 2 triple-double guys, Carmelo Anthony, who was, wow, an Oscar teammate. 2 Sixers make the first team, 25 for Melo. And they were successful last year, so I wonder if they're still like top of the East. Karl Malone, All-NBA first team. Nikola Jokic, All-NBA first team. Shea makes the 2nd team with Baron Davis, who was my 3rd round pick for them, who I, you know, said they would be their lead guard eventually. 17 and 11 from him this season. Kevin Garnett, Giannis on the All-NBA 2nd team, and Hakeem Olajuwon. And then you got Moses Malone, Dr. J, the former teammates, Luka, Bob Cousy, and Penny, the other teammate of Baron Davis. They got the 2 guards from that team, but I believe Kareem is the one who they're on the team with, and he's not here. And then the defensive first team, defensive 2nd team, and there's no rookie teams because they all suck. Get the play in the hell out of here. Thank you. Adios, Hornets. See what was that, Kareem I just said? All right, real quick. League leaders, Carmelo Anthony led in scoring with 25.1 a game. Then you have Embiid, Ray Allen, Dirk, and Big O. Rebounds is Moses Malone, Hakeem Olajuwon, Bill Russell, Dave Cowens, Willis Reed. Assist is Steve Nash, Russell Westbrook, Bob Cousy, Baron Davis, and Hardaway. Steve Nash leading at almost 13 a game. Walt Frazier led in steals by 0.3 a game. Blocks was Hakeem and Alonzo Mourning tied. And field goal percentage was actually Wes Unseld, 6'7". So if I had to guess, he's probably not shooting threes, even though he can. I'm pretty sure he has an 83, but hey, yeah, whatever. You're efficient. Let's say he was averaging 7 assists too. Good for him. For the NBA standings, yep, the Sixers are at the top of the East with Melo and Oscar Robertson. That's a nice pairing that I didn't expect to work as well as it is, but it is working well. I wouldn't have been surprised to see them at the bottom of the conferences, but they're cooking. The Cavs also back. Any like new teams that weren't here last year? Magic Johnson, his Nets made it this year. Last year they were in the play-in and lost. The Knicks, I believe, lost in the 1st round, so they were there, and the Magic won the ring, and I think now they're the 6th seed, the 7th seed. Did they make it? Yeah, the 7th seed is the Hawks, so Jason Kidd and Dirk make it. I don't remember if they made it last year. And the Bucks, just Karl Malone, Tony Parker, Peja, John Havlicek, Bob Lanier make it. Well, we'll focus on this team. Screw it. The Heat are really bad right now. And in the West, the OKC are better than the Suns by 10 games. Suns already know are Nash and Amari and Dr. J. Then you got the Clippers. LeBron James is the 3rd seed, so him and Magic take a huge jump this year. Hakeem Olajuwon also takes a huge jump with Bob Cousy himself making a big improvement this year. And Rashard Lewis still starting. I didn't even know they had Kevin Johnson. I believe the Scottie Pippen, Patrick Ewing team was like a near play-in team last year, but they make it this year. And then Tim Duncan, Derrick Rose, and Jimmy Butler also make it, so that's pretty cool. Allen Iverson and Joel make it yet again. Actually, Oh, no. Yeah. The Chris Paul missed it. Michael Jordan lost in the play-in. He was the 9th seed and lost to the 10th seed. Pelicans led by Kobe Bryant. So Kobe Bryant in the play-in game, which by the way, Kobe was the 10th seed and won against the 9th seed as well as the 8th seed. So knocked both of those out. He had 28 against Jordan, and Michael had 19 and 10 with 6 turnovers and lost. In the West, the worst team is still Kevin Durant, Isaiah Thomas, Dennis Rodman, Pau Gasol. I can see the weaknesses, but it's like you have Kevin Durant, so you know, I'd assume you could do something out here. But yeah, the Heat are still the worst team in the league. Don't know what's going on over in this land. And lastly, I turned off foul outs this year. I know nothing happened last year. We didn't even get to watch a game, as a bunch of teams obviously are going to get eliminated first round. There you go, Pelicans, Clippers, and Grizzlies. So the Grizzlies get upset by the Spurs. Memphis's team is Akeem Olajuwon. They lose to Patrick Ewing and Scottie Pippen, Vince Carter and Akeem to be exact. The Clippers actually lost, which the Clippers, LeBron James lost to Derrick Rose and Tim Duncan, as well as Jimmy Butler. Luka Doncic lost again in the first round, this time to Shaq and Shea. They might have lost to the same team last year, but I could have sworn it was the Magic. I don't know. And that's all the upsets, at least in the first round. Second round will be the Wizards out of here, the Suns out of here, the Cavs and the Spurs. So the Cavs team, that was Spencer Haywood, Larry Bird, and MVP Russell Westbrook. Also Rudy Gobert, who I didn't know was there off the bench. They're going to lose to Magic Johnson, and most notably in this game, 9 for 10 shooting, 25 points Zion in game 7 as well. How close was that game 7? It was a near 20-point win. It was well over double digits. The Suns also get upset. Dr. J, Steve Nash, they lose yet again. Tim Duncan, Derrick Rose, and them making an upset, beating out the 3rd and the 2nd seed so far. OKC also won a game 7. They're going to go back. Nearly lost to Ewing and Pippen, but they won the last game by almost 20. So I guess not too near. And Shaq, Shea, and Paul George on the Wizards are going to lose to Oscar Robertson and Melo, the reigning, the reigning nothing, but Oscar was the MVP last year. 2 All-NBA first-teamers though, so we could see the importance of the star power. I don't know why Joe Caldwell's starting, but you know, I'm not going to question them. The 1st seed. Also, is Magic Johnson coming off the bench? Is that what my eyes are? Because that I won't allow. That I will not allow. That is insane. That is actually devious, treacherous even. He has come off the bench for 2 games and they got Freddie Lewis trying to play over him. Man, get Freddie Lewis out of here. It's not even like he's a younger player. They're all almost the same age. Get Freddie Lewis to the bench. I will say though, I was thinking about doing something which I don't know if it would help, but I was thinking about like going to every team, clicking over here and just turning down potential to the lowest possible, which actually for these guys, most of it is actually the lowest. Okay, so maybe that would do nothing. Oh yeah, and I don't know if this is obvious enough, which is you're gonna laugh. You might not laugh. Sorry, I would never force you to laugh. This bald dude right here reminded me of Reggie Miller, and it made me think of how Reggie and like Charles and them aren't in here. And honestly, I didn't put Reggie and Charles into the all-time thing because sometimes I hate using created all-time players because they're just a little bit too overpowered compared to real life. I know you could say that for even the real all-time players, but at least, you know, I could blame 2K for that. I don't want to blame some random dude named like Roster Maker 4200. From the conference finals this year, there you go. Magic's here against Oscar, Melo, Dikembe, with Zion and Dave Cowens on his side of things. And then on the West side of things, Derrick Rose, Jimmy Butler, Tim Duncan versus Jerry West. And then, but wait, Brian Winters is starting for the Kings. Who is normally supposed to be starting for them? Oh, Drazen. Dang. Well, hey, Brian Winters is shooting the lights out. You know what I'm saying? He 52% from 3 in the playoffs. We ball. Let him rock. Conference finals simulated. Ooh, wow. 4-2 for the Thunder. They are going back. And a 3-3 in the East. I didn't even check when the Magic lost, did I? Or whatever. Yeah, whatever team that Wilt was on. 76ers are going to win. Carmelo Anthony and Oscar Robertson are going to the finals. Jerry West and Oscar, the 70s, 60s matchup is going to be. Pretty sure they were in the same draft class. I think it was 1960. Isn't it crazy to say like a player was drafted in the 1960 draft class and he's still alive and working with the Clippers now? Like, isn't that kind of weird to think about? And also, yeah, the Magic team, the Wilt team lost in the first round to, well, Magic Johnson. So now we've got Melo and Oscar trying to smoke Jerry West. Let's see. Oh my, the Sixers smoked them by almost 50 points in game 1. What is that, 45? I think so much, and I think I stole it. Is that 46? Oscar at 38, near triple-double. Melo had 27 and 14. If I had to guess, Melo's career high in assists was actually 13, so this is impressive. Or 12 or 11 or something like that. I remember it was more than 10, but it wasn't 14. I love Melo. That's it. Everyone already knows that. I'm happy. You know what? If there's one thing I'm doing in this world, I'm happy to be continuing positive Carmelo Anthony representation. Oscar Robertson, 48 and 8. Oh God, Melo just shot 3 for 15 right after I said that. And Adrian Dantley cooked. It's 1-1. But I say that because, you know, in this social media era, it's constant like comparisons and like, oh, this guy's better than this guy, so screw him. Like I'll see like a lot of Paul George and Paul Pierce and Jason Tatum, Carmelo Anthony debates and all this stuff. And I'm like, hey, guess what? I really don't care. Another win by the Thunder. Melo played well this game, but Adrian Dantley played Weller. I don't think I've ever said Weller before. Thank God. I don't think I'd have a career. That's a disrespectful thing to say. That's an awful word. Creating words out of thin air. How dare I? All right, our first close game of the whole simulation. I think it's only year 2, right? It is 123, 122. I'm wearing like weird headphones right now. It shouldn't change anything with the computer, but like when I do these, I usually just wear like really cheap. Oh my God. Ooh, just him with tumble with the layup. Good pass. Great pass. I usually wear just like really cheap headphones from wherever the hell because I like them, but like I'm wearing like these really expensive like $400 headphones that I usually just lay on the side and don't use. Oh my God, what a pass. And I feel like I'm in like a movie theater, but I don't like it. Oscar Robertson. Oh my, what a step through and nice big body finish. I'd really like to watch some Oscar Robertson highlights. Also, why is that Steve Francis in the game? Yeah, I see Steve Francis in the game. Oscar's at the 2 guarding Jerry at the 2 as well. Dantley back out Jerry West for 3. That should be way off. And it is rebound by, that is Dave DeBuscher. Hey, he must have been a good pick, and he's dribbling the ball up. Look at him, hands it off to Oscar. Oscar to the basket. Oh my, wide open. Melo's not in, but I'm not sure if he needs to be. I'm not sure if I'll ever get the perfect lineups in this type of simulation. The screen by Kevin McHale. LaMelo Ball's got it. He'll hand it off to, it'll go to Adrian Dantley. Dantley pass it down to Unseld. Unseld around the basket. Back out to Dantley. Dantley back out again. LaMelo Ball, he's got the basketball. Hands it off to Jerry West. Not a bad shot from mid-range, and he misses it. He misses the mid-range shot. It is handed off to Oscar, and Oscar will get fouled. They are lucky they didn't foul the Kembe. Oscar getting a lot of MVP chance just to go 0% from the line. Second one is good. Okay, 4-point lead. That might do it. Screwed. I'm gonna get out of here. Oh snap. It got pretty close, but yeah, 38-12 from Oscar. Okay, so he just barely lost the last game. Trust me, I was studying the game log, and there was no time to jump in. They barely won, and it is now a 3-2 lead for Jerry. 3-2 lead for Jerry West team. Sixers are gonna force a game 7 by 6 points. Joe Caldwell had 34. In game 7 in Oklahoma City, they're cooking right now. They are still cooking. Oh man, it's not looking good for the Sixers. The Philadelphia Sixers will fold again. This time, there's not the second round, but the finals. 25-10 from Oscar. Melo played all right. Really, it was defense. Yeah, it's looking like it was a lot of defense. David Thompson, Marcus Johnson, Jerry West, Rolando Blackman, Dantley, Wes Unseld, Kevin McHale all scored in double digits, and LaMelo Ball had 6 assists. DeAndre Jordan also almost scored 140 points. David Thompson, Finals MVP, and they get a ring after losing last year. Actually funny, both times now, the Finals MVP technically wasn't the best player on the team. David Thompson and Walt Frazier were second fiddle to Jerry West, and who am I forgetting? Will is the playoff scoring leader. It was Oscar Robertson, actually. He was tied with Ray Allen, and he played 24 games. There goes all the A-trains. And Greg Popovich actually got out of here this year. Season numero tres. I think I took Spanish for 1, 2, 3, 4. I took it for like 4 years, and then I dropped out in the 5th one because I hated it. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk. Hakeem and Kareem. Look at that. Hakeem All-Star captain 3 times now. Bill Walton's a starter, along with Bob Cousy, Ray Allen, actually, Tracy, Vince Carter, Larry Bird, and you could look at the benches if you feel like it. Award races. Westbrook is #1 in MVP again. Rookie of the Year race is really close. Mel Daniels might win 6th Man of the Year. Scotty, DPOY. We'll see. Usually, it'll just end up giving it to like the 5th person, and that like is just completely inaccurate. Any like significant changes here? Okay, Magic Johnson's team is now the best in the East. I'm not surprised with that though. And real quick, so it was what Timberwolves. Okay, yeah, LeBron's Timberwolves, or oh my bad, Michael Jordan's Timberwolves are in the playoffs this year. That's good. And LeBron was what, the Pelicans? I don't know. He was the Clippers, and they are 14th. Yeah, not a good look. Russell Westbrook MVP, Billy Cunningham 6th man, Bill Russell DPOY, Darius Garland most improved, JB Bickerstaff Coach of the Year, Eddie Carney Coach of the Executive, Westbrook, Robertson, Bird, Malone, and Jokic in the 1st. Magic leads the All-NBA 2nd team, and Bob Pettit the 3rd team. Hello LeBron, hello Kawhi, and hello Havlicek. Screw the play-in. Goodbye. Adios. Speaking of the play-in, they just added in the NBA like big body tournament today that they're gonna put in December for some reason. See how that goes. Russell Westbrook Cavaliers. Also too, I feel like a better spot for it to be would honestly be a more close to the All-Star break. In December, like the season is still getting started, and I still care fully, but they probably have analytics that say most people don't or something. Although I do think I don't know what they're gonna do. Magic's team was 2nd best. Russell Westbrook's team basically now, as he's kind of taken first fiddle to Larry, is the 1st best. The Knicks with Luka are the 3rd seed. Wilt's back. Kareem's back at the 5th seed. Shaq's the 6th seed. So a lot of my top picks are doing pretty well, but not Jordan or LeBron, at least not incredibly well. Melo and Oscar made the play-in game and made the playoffs, which is surprising after making the finals. They fell that far. And Kawhi and James Harden make the playoffs. playoffs. It's a good year-to-year turnaround. Maybe they fired their coach or something. I don't know. And yeah, Giannis's team. I'm sorry, but Giannis's teams in 2K are just doomed. I don't know what it is, but I really have no clue. LeBron is also the last seed in the West. So in the West, you got Jerry West's team. You got Dwayne Wade's team is the 2nd seed. MJ is the 3rd. Jokic is 4th. Kobe is 5th. Hakeem is 6th. 7th is Steve Nash. And then Steve Nash, Amari, and Dr. J. And 8th. Actually, no, they didn't make it. But whatever. Screw these guys. All right, whatever. Let's get to it. Season stats. Leader in points per game was Ray Allen, 25 points per game. Luka's teammate took over on the scoring effort. Moses Malone and Bill Russell tied in leading in rebounds. Steve Nash led in assists yet again. Definitely can't undermine it. It gives me a lot of insight even just doing this, like I mean, to be fair, the game's about to be over in 2 months, but it gives me a lot of insight to like what really matters. Chris Paul, 2.3 steals. Bill Russell, 72% from the field on field goals, obviously. 50% from John Starks from 3. And now let's get to it. So the Miami Heat are out of here. That is the Kawhi Leonard, James Harden team. I'm trying to like, you know, Luka and Ray Allen are out of here. The Hornets, I forgot. I think that's Kareem. Timberwolves, Michael Jordan is out of here. And he got upset. Hold on, stop it real quick. Oh, that's a really good pick too. They got Darius Garland as well. I was actually thinking of picking either Darius Garland or Trae Young, but they have Darius Garland and Trae Young, and they still lost. Michael Jordan had 17 and 7. Hal Greer had 13 and 10. Garland 26, but they lose to Vince Carter. I mean, they lost to Akeem, to be fair. And the Rockets are also about to get upset by the Jazz. Sixers are out of here, which, you know, reigning Eastern champions gone. Lakers are out of here and Rockets are out of here. So the Rockets, T-Mac, Chris Paul, and Yao Ming upset Dwayne Wade and Ja Morant. And then the Knicks, which was Ray Allen and Luka, get upset by Shaq, which, you know, not much is an upset in this, but hey, we ball. Second round, the Warriors, Jazz, Wizards, and Cavs are out of here. Cavs were the 1st seed and losing game 7 by almost 20 points to Wilt Chamberlain, so he's going back to the Eastern Finals. The Nets win their last game, game 5 to be fair, by 14 over Shaq, so Magic defeats Shaq. The Thunder swept the Warriors, Thunder being the same team that just won the championship last year, and the Warriors being one of my favorite teams, the Jokic, Chauncey Billups, Jason Tatum team. They get smoked. They also have Evan Mobley. I just saw that's a fantastic if they ever need it. Hey, if he develops power forward next to Jokic, if they want to ever start him over Elvin Hayes, I don't know if that'll be anytime soon. Elvin Hayes is an MVP, I'm pretty sure, right? I don't know. He's at least a champion. And Akeem Olajuwon's Grizzlies defeat the Jazz, led by Chris Paul, who had 7 and 7 on 2 for 11 shooting. And in the conference finals, it is Magic versus Wilt and Walt Frazier, and Zion versus Wilt, 2 big athletic freaks, although Zion's only 6'6", and Jerry West, Kevin McHale, David Thompson versus Hakeem Olajuwon, Bob Cousy, Vince Carter. 3-1 in both games, and the Grizzlies have been swept by the Thunder. I gotta take a closer look at what's got them going. And also, it is a game 7 now. Magic just came back from, I believe, down 3-1 or 3-0, and the Orlando Magic will complete the 3-0 comeback. We're gonna have a rematch. Magic, after not making it last year, will make it back. Let me check real quick. For the Thunder, I'm just gonna check their regular season stats. Oh, wrong thing. The Thunder, they are just a well-oiled, well-rounded machine. Look at how many players they have in double figures. They got 3 dudes on the bench that are in double figures, along with all 3 starters, all within the 10 to 20 point range. Just a good, efficient team. That's what it's looking like. And then the Magic, I mean, it's Wilt, Rick Barry, Ginobili, and Clyde on offense, defense, as well as his assist numbers. They are more so, you know, top heavy, but still got good bench players. We're also rotating between Tom Gugliotta and Tom Heinsohn starting. I really could not care less. The Thunder are going to win game 1 by 12 points. Jerry West had 27. Real nice conservative game, both ends, both teams. Nothing crazy. No 40-point games. Real basketball. 18-point game. Mike Conley game. Another win by the Thunder. Wes Unseld 30, 10 and 7. Did not realize how good at passing he would be, and they're about to win another one. Out to DJ Khaled. I rock with DJ Khaled. He doesn't mess with anybody, and he says funny stuff. Wes Unseld had a triple-double. Whole team just put up incredible stat lines. Oh my, real quick, no, I was underselling it, because Jerry West puts up a near 30 and 11 double-double. David Thompson has 26, 7, 9, 3 steals, 2 blocks, only missed 5 shots. LaMelo Ball 20 and 10 double-double as well. Wes Unseld triple-double. Marcus Johnson only misses 1 shot and puts up 15. And then Adrian Dantley has 18 on no misses, 7 for 7. That's how you get 150 points. Even though the other team got 126, they just, hey, this is an offensive force. The Thunder win another ring. I didn't even simcast the last one. It is Jover. So they win their second matchup. It's 1-1 between them two, but the Thunder have 2 rings now. And I think Jerry West just won Finals MVP. And far and away, well, Hakeem was actually the leader in playoff scoring for a pretty sizable amount of games. Also, I always forget to check one thing always. Most points scored in the game this season was 53 by Melo. Threes was 11 by Bob Cousy, funnily enough. 22 rebounds by Bill Russell. 24 assists by Russell Westbrook. 50 minutes played by Patrick Ewing. Oh no, not Asia A Train retiring again. What will we do? Any like real players? Are Oh, well, man, not really. See, look, every time a team has to waive a player, they keep waiving the rookie they just drafted. That's tough. And at least you got the minimum contract. Good for you. Or the rookie scale, whatever. Vince Carter, all-star captain. There's the rest of the guys. KG, hello. Hold on. Pelicans are the first seed in the West? That's new. Gilbert Arenas, Kobe Bryant, and Bill Walton, #1 seed. Thunder is still top 3. Nuggets are also up here with Steph Curry, who was struggling earlier. That's good to see. Good for them. And in the East, it's looking like the same teams are cooking just about. Why do they keep putting Magic on the bench? Why is Fred Brown starting over him now? Who the hell cares? Hey, watch this. I don't care if Fred Brown missed a number 21. He thinks he's Iman Shumpert. Russell Westbrook, most valuable. Billy Cunningham, 6th man of the year. Bill Russell, DPOY. Evan Mobley, most improved. I told you he can get some minutes. Next to Jokic and JB Bickerstaff, coach of the year. Jokic would have that man, Evan Mobley, looking like KD. Or KG, I meant actually, who is on the first team alongside Oscar, Russell, Rick Barry, and Jokic. Here's the second team. Bob Cousy leads it, and the third team, Shea, leads it. And for the playoffs, first and foremost, let's check this real quick. Leader in points per game was Melo by almost a whole point, as well as Rick Barry's right there. Moses Malone averaged 12 rebounds a game. Steve Nash, 12 assists a game. 2.2 steals from Iverson and Jordan. 3 blocks from Bill Russell. And fantastic shooting from Bob McAdoo, and from downtown, Kristaps Porzingis just barely taking the lead. And who led in? Oscar Robertson dropped 50 in a game. And real quick, I'm jetting right to the bottom. Okay, so the Jokic team was almost in the conference finals, and now they're at the bottom of the conference. And by the way, team chemistry's off, morale's off, all that stuff is off. Technically, you could say team chemistry could be good for this, but honestly, I don't know the calculation of team chemistry. All I know personally from team chemistry in 2K is it's linked to morale, or at least it seems like it's linked to morale, and then helps morale go up faster when you have both on for players, and they also have chemistry with their team, and the team has been broken up anytime recently. Also, forget all that. The Bulls are trash, dog. I might need to start putting in rookies I might put in the Victor class and just say we ball. See if any of the teams want them, use them. They might end up just dropping half of the rookies, honestly. Also, real quick, simulate past the play-in. I don't care about that. You already know the vibes. The Thunder did end up reclaiming #1 in the West, but the Pelicans were very close behind. Then you got Steph Curry's team, Bob Cousy, Vince Carter, Nakeem, Iverson, and Embiid. Ja Morant and Dwayne Wade are back again with Bob Pettit, Derrick Rose, and Tim Duncan, who I've been wishing to see some more success from, honestly. And then Steve Nash and Dr. J just barely make it. In the East, you got the Cavs at 60 wins, which is the best in the league. Russell Westbrook, Larry Bird, and them. Walt Frazier and Wilt Chamberlain are #2. Shea and Shaq, Oscar and Melo, Magic Johnson and company, Baron Davis, Penny, Kareem and Paul Pierce, and the Luka Knicks. So we've seen a lot of the similar teams. Also, Dirk made it this year as well. I don't think we've seen much from him. Seen a lot of the similar teams make it. So yeah, I think it is about that time to maybe import a draft class for fun. See who wins it. Let's see who wins it all. First round, the Atlanta Hawks get eliminated. The Suns are out of here. The Wizards, the Grizzlies, the 76ers, Nuggets, Knicks, and Pelicans. I don't think Michael Jordan made it this year. Oh my God, 4 upsets in the West. The Grizzlies upset by the Lakers, so Joel Embiid and Allen Iverson move on to round 2. Good thing for the team they're playing, you know Joel Embiid's body. 4-3 win by the Houston Rockets. They beat Stephen Curry. That is Ja Morant and Dwayne Wade beating Curry and Clay. So Ja Morant gets his get back for those past few series, or that one series they lost. The Kings beating the Pelicans in Game 7, led by Brian Winters, 27 points. Tim Duncan moves on, but Kobe Bryant loses. So kind of, bittersweet. As the 76ers, Carmelo Anthony shoots 2 for 16. I was actually looking at, there's a stat on Basketball Reference. You probably, NBA YouTube uses it, but there's a stat called Game Score, and it ranks like the worst and best games ever. And I was looking through the worst games ever by game score, and I saw Paul George's 2 for 17 against Donovan Mitchell in, I think, 2018 or 18, because that was his rookie season. Yeah, I don't know. I just thought of it because it's almost the exact same stat line, or maybe it was 3 for 17. I don't know, but that's bad. That's really bad, especially in it was game 6, which is still pretty important. But yeah, and they also lost to Magic Johnson. It's not a huge upset. It's the 4v5 matchup, and the Wizards lost to Kareem. So Shaq lost to Kareem. Second round, the Magic, the Lakers, the Nets, and the Rockets are out of here. Kareem upsets Wilt. Good to see. Good. I mean, good for him at least. I don't know. And Houston, Derrick Rose, Tim Duncan and company beat Ja Morant. So in the conference finals, it is Kareem Abdul-Jabbar against Larry Bird and Russell Westbrook. Either one of these teams hasn't made it to finals or won a ring, but OKC could go for a 3-peat, I'm pretty sure, as they play against Tim Duncan and Derrick Rose and Jimmy Butler. Butler, of course. But OKC is up 3-0. They've only lost one game in the playoffs, and there the hell go the Kings. My God. It is 3-3 in the East. Screwed. I'm going to simulate it. Larry Bird, conference MVP. They won by 9 points. He had 28 and 13 in the last game. They beat Kareem. Thunder win game 1. Thunder win game 2. Thunder lose game 3. Win game 4. And oh, okay. Here we go. There you go. Hey, I'm all for it. I was just like trying to see if they were going to sweep real quick because, oh, well, they might still win. I don't know what crack got into this team, dog. They win by like 1,000,000 points, and Jerry West had 32 and 7. Mikhail 25 and 10. And I checked like their, okay, well, yeah, there you go. Jerry West finals MVP, but I got to check their team stats because it's kind of hard to look at a full team where every team is fantastic. Like offensive rating, it's them. Defensive rating, it's the Cavs, but they're still top like 8. They score the second most points per game, and they're not insane at defense on allowing points, but yeah, this is where I really want to see. Thunder second in field goal percentage. We're 17th in 3 points, so nothing too crazy. That is a 3-peat by them though. What about oh yep, there you go. Third least in 3-pointers attempted, only trailing the Bucks, who haven't had much success. Because that's the thing, is that you're like, oh well, that must mean, you know, oh, don't shoot threes, be efficient around the rim. But the Bucks haven't seen any success. The Suns keep getting bounced. The Raptors haven't even seen them do a thing. And they don't even have the most field goals made out of teams that are shooting minimal threes, if that makes any sense. So I'm not sure what's adding up here. They are shooting, they're shooting the most free throws and making the most by over 2. It's a good team, but I feel like they're dethronable. I'm gonna go one more year without adding in a draft class for Victor. I mean, this is the thing. Victor might not change nothing in here. I know I might be testing Victor a little bit too much. Speaking of Victor, you know, they said the summer league game sold out for his first ever game, and you know, hey, I wonder who got tickets, man. Could never be me. Out the sarcasm. Oh, draft lottery doesn't matter. Oh, and they have LaMelo, who's now a 95. Yeah, they were already good, and now LaMelo's even better. Like, let me scroll. I mean, a lot of teams are pretty similar in overalls. Even, was that Ben Simmons? Come on, dog. Oh, actually, well, I guess it is peak Ben Simmons. It's all-time Ben Simmons that got drafted. Trailblazers re-signed their big man coach, Rodney Billups. Did Chauncey get his brother in the office or something? That might actually be true. I have no clue. Here's the all-star teams again. You got Wes Unseld as the captain. Wow. KG, Oscar, Hakeem, Steve Nash, James Worthy, Bob Cousy, Magic, Kareem, and Karl Malone are the starters. Anybody interesting on the bench? I mean, I see Rick Barry and Jokic. I don't really, everybody looks pretty normal to me. I will say, actually, though, Michael Jordan and, am I not seeing LeBron James here? Michael Jordan and LeBron, because like I'm like, oh well, Melo's here, but like they aren't. You know, my GOAT is here. Elgin Baylor's here, but yeah, neither of the top 2 picks in the draft. Cavs are 34 and 18. Thunder are 40 and 14. Are they really just gonna go again and do it again? Hey, I might have to start making them trades, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm very pressed for time right now, but I would still, you know, for the love of the game, I might still make some trades. Wes Unseld wins most valuable player. I don't even know if I drafted him. I think I did. Billy Cunningham, 6th man of the year. Bill Russell, DPOY. Mark Dagnall. Wait, yeah, I think it's Dagnall. Okay, yeah, it's gonna take a while. I'm so used to saying that dumb name the dumb way. Magic, Oscar, KG, Rick Barry, Wes Unseld, first team, Bob Cousy, Russell, Anthony, Malone, and Jokic, second team, Nash, Shea, Baylor, Bird, and Malone, third team. Playoffs, screw the play-in game, goodbye. This year, you've got Melo leading again by over a point. Then you got Malone in rebounds at 12 and Nash in assists at 12. That is the same leaders every year. Hello, Gary Payton. Oh, blocks, Alonzo Mourning or Bill Russell. It always happens. And Wes Unseld led in field goal percentage, and Larry Johnson in 3-point percentage, actually, which is pretty surprising. Like, he's good at shooting, but not that good. So yeah, Wes Unseld, yeah, I did draft him, especially as like a shorter center next to pretty tall, pretty burly, slow body Kevin McHale. So, you know, I felt like it worked pretty well. All right, first round. Did I forget something? I forgot to go over the playoff teams. Screw it. If you suck, you suck. All right, Nets, Sixers, Spurs, Warriors, Bucks, Trailblazers, and Knicks are out of here. 76ers upset by the Wizards. That is Melo and them losing to Kareem, right? No, Shaq. My bad, Shaq and Shea. And San Antonio. Why do I feel like I haven't seen San Antonio? Oh, it's because I haven't in a while, at least. Tyrese Halliburton's here and in his prime with Scottie Pippen and Patrick Ewing, and they lost to Denver, which is Steph Curry. Second round, Denver Nuggets eliminated, Grizzlies eliminated, Magic eliminated, and Wizards eliminated. There were no upsets, so screw it. Conference finals is Russell Westbrook and Larry Bird against Kareem and Penny Hardaway. And the other conference finals, OKC versus New Orleans. Kobe Bryant is here. Can he be the one to dethrone OKC? Honestly, I doubt it. OKC is too good. They up 2-1. Okay. Cavs got eliminated. Ooh. So Kareem's going to the finals. Kobe is up 3-2, and he has done it. Gilbert Arenas and Kobe. Gilbert Arenas is usually a primetime 2K player, but that's taken a good amount of years. And the Thunder have finally been dethroned after their 3-peat. So 4 years in now, 3 rings being the Thunder, 1 being the Magic over the Thunder. So they have made every single finals and have finally been dethroned. And it will be by Kobe Bryant. Can he finish? Why'd I say it like that? Kobe Bryant, and he will be finished off. Can he finish it off? Can he finish the job? All right, whatever. Shout out to Paul Pierce, his former finals, you know, rival. Wish this game was a little bit closer. I want to see this gameplay. Honestly, I've been wanting to see gameplay for a while. We haven't seen a lot at all, honestly. But 10-point win by the I just realized Larry Johnson is oh no, he's on the Pelicans, but he's playing against his former team. Paul Pierce at 26 points. I saw Lamar Odom as well. Here we go. Honestly, I forget what game it is. But we're here. It is time. This Charlie Scott, is that what that dude is? Oh, Anthony Edwards is here. Anthony Edwards against the Hornets, and oh my God, he goes around Josh Giddey and dunks it. I would assume the starters get in here at some point, but as of right now, the benches are in. It's kind of interesting. Oh, there you go. Timeout by the Hornets. Charlotte is up 1-0. It's a 4-point lead by, I just realized actually, it's the Pelicans versus the Hornets. Interesting. Teams that are intertwined in history in weird ways. The pass to Baron Davis down low, back to Baron Davis. Got to get out of the paint. And Baron Davis will pull up a three. That is off. Rebound by Kareem. Kareem, big body self, will go back up. Another timeout by the Pelicans. My God. I usually don't jump in with this much time left, but I saw a comment like 2 days ago. I was on the Jabari Parker career simulation. It was like, can you jump in? Please more gameplay. Buddy, I don't control this. If the games ain't close, we can't watch the game. If it's a 30-point blowout, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's actually something I really can't control. Oh, Larry Johnson for three. Bang. Because he's doing the L. I don't even know how to explain what he just did. I think it's just the L. But he did that after he hit the 4-point play with the Knicks, which was really fire. Oh, down to Kareem bucket. Paul Arizin half spin back to the, oh my God. Paul Arizin got in his bag. Cooked. Paul Arizin, look at that half spin. Cooked him. Oh, cooked him with the real slow move. Slow first step. That's a hilarious move. Yeah, some dude, you know, people was like, oh, make longer videos. And I'm like, I can't control that. I'm like, well, I guess I could just talk more. Oh my God. Also, Kareem is cooking them. But yeah, when it comes to the games, dog, like, come on, man. What the hell you want me to do? Kobe Bryant between the legs. Screen on the left side from Bill Walton. Kobe will pump fake it, go into the post. He will eventually pull up and get the bucket anyways, going through the full footwork bag right there. Baron Davis. And he's going to finally stolen by Bill Walton. Their whole bag has been going to Kareem, whether the offensive rebound, anything, just strategically to him. Lamar Odom, former Kobe teammate. Kobe will go up, miss it. Rebound by Kareem. It's down by 5. Pass over to Penny Hardaway. Penny down to Kareem. Kareem, the spin. Kareem into the post. Back out. Davis back out to Odom. Screen by Chambers. And Lamar pulls up. That is off. Rebound by Kareem. Back out. Penny wide open for 3. Bang. Why was Kobe boxing out Kareem? I guess they switched something somewhere. I've kind of zoned out. Scott's got it. He'll get the screen from Larry. Larry Johnson will fade, and he will screen for Kobe. Over to Arizin, I believe. Arizin for 3. A fantastic shooter, and he hits it. 5-point lead by the Hornets, or no, the Pelicans. Sorry. It's funny because I can make that mistake. Oh my, down to Kareem. He'll get fouled and one. That man is abusing Bill Walton. Kareem at the line. The first free throw, or the only free throw, is good. 33 seconds to go. They'll probably end up fouling, but you know, players miss free throws in this game pretty often. They're gonna foul if it gets to 27, right? It always happens. There it is. Hey, they got to Kobe though. Kobe at the line, game in his hands, and the first one is off. And the Pelicans called their last time out. Why are you icing your own player? What are you gonna tell him out of his shooting form again? Kobe at the line to try and make it a 3-point lead. It is good. Now Charlotte will take their last one. Oh, pass down Kareem. Kareem fades away and hits. They're gonna force him back to the line again. See if they fold. And the pass, and there you go. Kobe gets it. Also, Kareem has 5 fouls, but like I said earlier, there's no foul out. My league, my rules. Literally my league. I still call it I will never call this thing my NBA, with all due respect. I mean, maybe I will sometimes. It's not a terrible name, but like, it's just, you know, not just force of habit, but like that's my childhood, dog. It's my league. Kareem, what the hell? What the hell? Oh my God. You know what? Let's just simulate out. All right. Well, good win. Good win. Pelicans up 1, or I think it's 1-1 now. 1-1. Looking like the best finals yet. Maybe we actually got some good gameplay. 2:52 left. Hey, I'm locked in. Screw it. The 5th ring. Who's getting it? To take a 2-1 lead. David Thompson, floater, bucket. Is it, or is that, no, that's Charlie Scott. I don't know. David Thompson's not even here. He just looks similar. It's that 70s cut. Anthony Edwards guarding in the corner against somebody, but hey, he probably about to get subbed out. Kareem steps through, gets a bucket. Sorry. I wasn't looking because they were in timeout. Pass in. Oh my, maybe the worst pass of all time. Tom Chambers goes between the legs to Lamar Odom to Baron Davis. Davis steps back, pulls the 3, straight line, way off. Larry Johnson, strong body self, grabs the rebound. He's got a corner. Gilbert Arenas open, pulls it 3, bang. Gilbert Arenas takes a 1-point lead. Why so many timeouts? Kareem Abdul-Jabbar hits it. The tough layup. Baron Davis just dumps it down to him and says, let go. We cook. Ooh, the shot by Paul Arizin, moving off the dribble, bucket. Pass down. Kareem, the dunk. He is dominant. Ooh, Arizin, another jumper and another bucket. Look at Paul Arizin getting... Yo, Paul Arizin, these old man buckets have been nice. We found a new channel legend, Paul Arizin. Oh my God, I went to the scoreboard. Baron Davis goes left, spin. Baron Davis steps back, elite hoops. He's stuck though. He's got to pass the ball. I wonder where it'll go. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, these hooks. So I had a friend that used to just say that all the time in high school. It was like it was from the Lil Dicky song. Oh my God. Lamar Odom misses. Rebound by Bill Walton. He secures it. 2-point lead. Bill Walton dribbles it up. A point center, so to speak. Pass over to Arizin. Arizin all the way to the basket. He bodies. He gets the bucket. Kobe Bryant standing in the corner watching a real maestro. Paul Arizin, NBA legend. Warriors legend, I'm pretty sure, right? Philadelphia Warriors. Baron Davis pulls up for three. That is off. Rebound by, it is Bill Walton, secures it. 43 seconds to go. Bill Walton gets double teamed. He's going to pass it over to Larry Johnson. Larry will force the three and miss. That was a really terrible shot selection. Penny Hardaway over to Baron, and that was a 3-second offensive violate. That is terrible. Who even did it? Okay, another timeout. You're going to let Paul, well, this game's over. Let's be honest. 4-point win. Kobe was cooking, but Paul Arizin was really cooking. 2-1 Kobe Bean. Pelicans lead, and they're going to take a 3-1 lead. Kareem 23, Kobe 20, Bill Walton 12 assists, Charlie Scott 13 assists. Hornets are going to take a game, trying to fight back. Pelicans need to close it out now. They can't let them force the 7. Edwards passing in the ball, passed into Scott. Scott between the legs, cooks Penny, pass down, beautiful, and he misses it. Great defense. Lamar Odom between the legs, steps it back to the left, down to Chenier. Chenier, the close shot is good. That's a good quality shot. It was Chenier. I just saw him hit his 21st minute right in front of my eyes. Scott between the legs, pass over Gilbert. Gilbert Arenas to the basket, trying to bully ball, pass down. Walter, oh, beautiful pump fake. Guess that man gone. Was that Lamar Odom? Is he playing center? They're running a small ball lineup right now. Call a timeout, dog. Call your last timeout. We'll be all right. Bill Chenier around the basket. He is cooking nothing. Rebound by Larry. That man, Baron Davis looks like Terry Rozier in this jersey. Pass over. One more. Scott trying to get it down to Larry Johnson. Is that what I'm seeing? They're trying to expose the mismatch. Look at that. And he's going to double and pass out Anthony Edwards. Open three. Bang. We're seeing a variety of talent out here. Chenier, 1:30 to go. Goes to the left. Oh my God. Okay, layup. Nice layup. Couldn't even describe that. I didn't know what just happened. I thought he was about to get blocked by Bill Walton. But Bill Walton forgot to jump. Oh, Gilbert pulls up a 3. Oh, that could have been a crazy bucket. He just bodied him and pulled up the 3. Pass up to Davis. Davis down by 1 point, trying to save his season. Lamar will take the 3 way off to the right end flat line. Look like they took him off the machine. Pass down to Walton. Walton against Odom. This is still a crazy lineup. Odom back out to Arenas. That man Walton did nothing with it. Gilbert Arenas pass over to Scott. Scott will get a screen from Larry Johnson. Scott goes right. Pass over Gilbert. Gilbert's going to fade away for 3. That is off, and the rebound by nobody. All right, we're going to see subs right now. Hornets might take a timeout as well. They got to inbound it from all the way over here. I guess they might still take one. Trust. And they're not. Screen by Kareem. Baron, you already know he's trying to force it to. He'll pump fake. Pass it down to, oh, Penny gets fouled by Kobe. Penny at the line. The first one is good. I think I might just made the dumbest decision ever. I don't know why, but I just simcast it. Like I felt like Penny was ending the game. To be fair though, they were already up. I mean, we're basically back in the same scenario. All right. Oh my God, a missed free throw by Chenier. And I don't know why they took a timeout again. The most insane timeouts. It's like they're just hitting the button on accident. All right, he hits one. New Orleans still has their timeout. So this is it. Last chance to close it out in this game, unless it's going to 7. Gilbert Arenas. This screen by Bill Walton. Gilbert goes right. He does a spin back to the right. Oh, he's getting deep in the bag. Nope, he's getting nowhere. The pass back out to Kobe. Kobe, 6 seconds to go, working in his mid-range area. Kobe pump fakes. He'll take the close floater. That is good. He did some little footwork. 3 seconds to go. Barron's going to force up a full court shot way off. We are going to overtime. Still to be determined. Look at Bill Walton working in the post. 3-point lead for the Pelicans. They have the ball. 1:43 to go. This is an elite series to make up for the lack of gameplay in the video. Paul Arizin in the game. There you go. Paul trying to cook Paul, and Paul will cook Paul, and 1. Paul Arizin, short, 6'3", 6'4" self, cooking 6'8", 6'7". Paul Pierce. Paul Arizin. He will hit the free throw despite it being 78%. They take a 6-point lead. There's still a chance, but a slim one. Slimmer than Bowl on a Tuesday. Pass down to Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Kareem halves. Oh my God. The bag is crazy low post. He only had 3 seconds to work with, or he'll be heading back down the other way. Paul Arizin, 1:24 to go. Paul between the legs twice. This is the lead. Ooh, Kobe open corner 3. Bang. Kobe Bryant, beautiful Steph Curry-esque play ran for Kobe. And it's a 7-point lead still with 1:73 to go. Even larger lead than 3 seconds ago. They're going to force down to Kareem again. The 2s might not overcome the 3s. seconds. And Kareem's gonna take the sky. Nope, he fakes the sky hook and has to pass it out. He's about to get a 3-second. How did he not get 3 seconds? The screen for Baron Davis. That's not a bad shot, but he misses anyways. And Kareem gets the board and puts it back. Oh my God. The soft touches of hell. Paul Arizin, tween. Pass over, wide open. Charlie Scott, 3, bang. Pass down, Kareem layup. Oh, he finally gets stopped. And oh my God, he gets it in one. Is there any chance? Probably not. Probably not. And the New Orleans Pelicans, which I could have watched it, but they have won the NBA Finals. Larry Johnson, 30. Bill Walton, Finals MVP with that all-around Jokic-esque stat line. And we got a new champion in town. The Pelicans, the 3rd seed. Kobe. Damn, why Dennis Smith Jr. just randomly retire? Shout out to Dennis Smith Jr. One of my favorite NBA players. Not like from watching him play, I guess. I mean, okay, that sounds kind of rude, but I always liked Dennis Smith Jr. when we were about to draft him in 20 whatever. And then we traded him and he was kind of cool to me in real life. Cool guy. And I saw that he just got a deal with the Brooklyn Nets. It was the only deal the whole free agency that I missed. I saw it like 3 days later. I was very on top of everything, but he got a deal with the Nets on the first day. I was very proud. Every player is about peaked now, thankfully, when I can see all 99s. All right, hold on real quick. Season just started, right? I might make some trades. Mavericks 11-25. Here's the thing, right? And oh yeah, I'm about to make a Mavericks and Bulls trade just for fun because they are both consistently trash. Call up Chicago. Matter of fact, just go to the player. I mean, I literally create the trade. They might have to come back and have some further discussions later, but for now, I might just trade Giannis for KD. Honestly, they were like the back-to-back picks. Screw it, let's do it. Let's see what happens. That moves Dennis Rodman to the bench, which I'm cool with. I was about to even include him in the trade. I'm like, I don't know, maybe he's holding him back. I really have no clue. We'll see. Next season will have to be, the time we evaluate that. But while Millsap starting, they'll be all right. Vince Carter, Melo, those are your all-star captains. Pretty cool. Carmelo Anthony, most valuable player. This is beautiful. Taking a screenshot. Herman Rose, 6-man. Bill Russell, PPOY, Willie Green, coach of the year. That's the Pelicans, ain't it? First team, Oscar, Shea, Melo, KG, and Jokic. Second team, Kidd, Westbrook, Irving, Barry, and Malone. Third team, Magic, T-Mac, Baylor, Worthy, and Abdul-Jabbar. Get the play-in out of here. We don't care. Don't care. Melo led the league in scoring by 2 points, and Malone led in rebounds, and Nash led in assists. We already know how this goes. Wes Unseld in field goal percentage, 3-point percentage. Jeremy Lin. I didn't even know he's in the league. Steals, Jason Kidd, blocks, 3.1 from Morning. I don't care about these trash teams. Matter of fact, the Bulls did a little bit better after that. Hey, oh my God. Hey, all right. First round. Oh my, Suns got smoked 4-0. Hey, honestly, do not care who gets upset. We got a new champions, new all that. Thunder, you trying to lose real quick? Thunder. Goodbye, Thunder. Yep, I'm hating. And the Knicks are the first seed and lost. Or no, they weren't. Wait, the Cavs? Okay, wait, I do care about this upset. The Hornets, after being in the finals, lost in the first round to the Cavs, and the Cavs are now in the conference finals with Russell Westbrook, Larry Bird, and them. Walt Frazier, Rick Barry, and Wilt against them. And then Kobe and company are back against Scottie Pippen, Patrick Ewing, Nate Archibald, and Jerry Lucas. Let us see who shall win. It is the Spurs get eliminated, and hold on. Game 7, Cavaliers beat Magic by 14. So we have a Kobe Bryant, Gilbert, and Bill Walton against Russell Westbrook, Larry Bird, and company. They got good role players. Sean Marion, Allen Houston, George Mikan. Not really role players in this league though. I mean, well, Sean Marion is actually the definition of an elite role player, to be fair. Top tier, Mikal Bridges with an uglier jump shot, and just so happened to be on the Suns as well in his time because, well, Mikal Bridges left them as well. Pelicans win the first game by 11. Pretty normal game, 20 points. Oh my, Pelicans took over again, and they will win by 7. Bill Walton, 28, 13, 8. Hey, I gotta say Bill Walton and company. Let's be honest. I told you, he goes kind of crazy from time to time. Pelicans cooking again, and they win another game. It might be over. Let me see. Oh, 3-1. 1 by 6. Oh, 3-2. Oh my God. 1 by 30. Oh, 4-2. There it is. Bill Walton, Finals MVP, over with. Pelicans back-to-back champions. Might have to start hating on them soon. Danny Roberts, so proud to be the owner of such an amazing team. Congratulations to everyone in the organization on this amazing win. In Cleveland, Ohio. He tweeted out from Cleveland too. Ain't nothing else related to there. So as of right now, 6 years in, 2 Pelicans rings, 3 Thunder. Sorry, 5 years in? No, it's 6. What am I talking about? Yeah, whatever. You see it. It's on the screen. For a second, I thought I counted the Curry ring on accident. Goodbye to the A-Trains. Why is Bill Walton getting worse? All right, it is time. I'm adding in the 2023 NBA draft class. The last 3 years of this, maybe. Something like that. Or whatever. They might not even make an impact. We'll see. They might all get released. I don't even know. All-Star draft, Team Dirk and Team Dracy. There go the teams for your viewing pleasure. Saw LeBron made it at least. There you go. Also, the year to check, did the trade make any difference? Oh, Bulls Bulls are trash and Mavericks are trash. Yeah, they're just trash. I'm sorry to break it to you. I don't feel like doing anything else. I'm already content with the teams that are actually good. But I have LeBron and Jordan request trades out. Let's see, where are LeBron and Jordan at? Also, the Hawks have 15 wins. Weren't they just in the playoffs like 2 years ago? Yeah, some teams just don't got it. Wes Unseld was another MVP. Scotty, DPOY, Mel Daniels, 6-man, Mark Dagnall, Coach of the Year, Magic, Shea, Julius, Kevin, and Wes Unseld. First start, Kevin Garnett to be exact. Big O, Russell, Brick Barry, Dirk, and Jokic, and Bob Cousy, T-Mac, Melo, Bird, and Wilt. Defensive first, defensive second. 56 and 26 Thunder. They are back in business. They're so back. Oh God. Dirk led the league in scoring. Malone again in rebounds. What did I say about him being the best rebounder? Shea with 12 assists. He over Nash. 2.2 Iverson and steals. 3 Tim Duncan blocks. Seen some people set different records. Bob McAdoo in field goal percentage and Mike Conley in 3-point. Oh my, the Thunder already down 1-2. Wait, I'm trying to see if they get up. I'm not even. Oh my. Yep, the Thunder got upset round 1. And so did Cleveland. Wow. Russell Westbrook went to the conference finals last year. So did OKC. And they lose to LeBron James and the Clippers. Also Golden State, Jason Tatum and Jokic lose to Patrick Ewing, Nate Archibald and them. Scottie Pippen. The Knicks, Luka Doncic keeps on failing me and losing in the first round. This time it was to Zion, Magic Johnson, and Dave Cowens. And the Wizards, Shea, Shaq, and them able to defeat Wilt in the first round. Interesting. Second round, get them all out of here. Oh my. Okay, well, the Wizards with the 5th seed, Pacers with the 8. Pacers are going to go all the way to the conference finals. The Donovan Mitchell, Clyde Drexler, Kiki Vandeweghe, Moses Malone and his rebounds, and Charlotte loses to Brooklyn, which means that Magic Johnson is going back to the conference finals again with Zion. Ooh, Kyle Lowry, David Robinson, Jaren Jackson, John Stockton, and Grant Hill are going to the conference finals as well. So some new matchups. Also, they defeated Kobe. They defeated the reigning champions, the 2-time champions at that. We got Brooklyn. I think that means we're going to just have a new champion by default. Brooklyn, Magic Johnson and them against, Louis Dampier is a cheat code in this game. They got him. That man he has a 99 potential and he's like a 6'1" point guard and he's like an 89 when the simulations start. Whenever I do drafts with friends, we just always get, he's a cheat code, trust. And Moses Malone, 98 overall, also at center against, the Magic Johnson team we've grown to know pretty well. And then the Scottie Pippen, Nate Archibald, and Patrick Ewing against David Robinson, Grant Hill, John Stockton. And since he was the leading scorer last game, I'm thinking of Kyle Lowry off the bench. Spurs up 2-1, Spurs up 3-1, and also so are the Nets. We better see a black and white versus black and white matchup color scheme. I guess gray for the Spurs. Yeah, well, there it is. Ewing versus Cowan, Zion versus Jerry Lucas, Scotty versus Glenn Robinson, Beal versus Dale Ellis, and Nate Archibald versus Magic. That is a crazy size disadvantage on the point guard. Honestly, throw Nate Archibald on Bradley Beal and throw Dale Ellis on Glenn Robinson. That's what I would do, me personally. They're not going to though. Should I just do it just in case I have to jump in? Scotty Pippen on yeah, screw it. I'll do it. There you go. Scotty Pippen on Magic. Game 1. And honestly, I don't even know if the changing matchups actually affects the game more, like the simulated more so the when I jump in. But hey, game 1, Nets get smoked. Magic shot 4 for 12 with 5 turnovers. Maybe it does affect it. Probably does, honestly. I'm probably trying not to gas it. And Magic, just do what you do best. Pass. Oh my, Spurs are cooking. And they win another game. Scotty at 24-11-7. Magic had 27-11. That's funny. Spurs up 2-0. Spurs cooking right now, but it is 140 left. Nets series is about to be over unless they retaliate right here, right now. I see Tyrese Halliburton on the court. Magic Johnson, Patrick Ewing. The pass in and Magic Johnson, the steal by Magic. Magic gonna dunk it down on the break. Tyrese gets cooked. Well, kind of. It wasn't really his fault in the pass. I guess it kind of was. Tyrese gonna pass it down and another near turnover. Wow, but he gets it back and Ewing layup. Jesus, that man Cowan dropped the hell out the ball. No thoughts up there. Zion gets it to bring it up the court. Point Zion. Zion goes in the point post back to Magic. How is his offense gonna work in this type of scenario in the simcast? Let's see. Zion down low. Zion post hook and he hits it. Zion putting that in his bag. He is in like year 8 of his career now or something. Tyrese Halliburton back up, tied game. 107 to go. He's trying to get it to Ewing. Ewing down low. Patrick in the post. He'll fade away. Pump fake. Back out to Tyrese. $300 million man. Screen on the other side. I think that's Issel and Tyrese down low. Down to him. He gets it stolen by Magic again. 49 seconds to go. Nets trying to fend him off. This could save their series. Once again, pass down to Zion. Running through him. He's going to bully, take a layup, and one. Zion Zion Williamson. That is Zion. Oh, that's Cunningham. Billy Cunningham getting cooked by Zion. Sorry, I'm taking thumbnail photos, so you're gonna catch me in the action. But did they sub out Magic? Nah, we ball. Zion hits the free throw, 3-point lead into Nate Archibald. Tiny Nate. Nate, the floater in the block by Cowens. But wait, was it Big Brain? No, it wasn't. Jerry Lucas misses the three. That would have been a crazy retaliation after that block. That was an all-time miss. That could have ended the series. And Brooklyn looking like they're gonna go on to win this game. There it is. We can get out of here. Boom, 5-point win. Scottie Pippen 24 to Zion's 30. Nets saved their series, and will they save it a little more today? Pretty close. 6 minutes to go. Spurs trying to cook. Spurs trying to cook very much so. 4-point deficit. Oh my. 47 seconds ago. Spurs up by 2. Pippen, the pass into Archibald. Nate Tiny Archibald. Pass over to the corner. Tyrese Halliburton. This jump shot will take the 3 to maybe seal the game and seal the 3-1 lead. That was all they needed. Let's see if the Fred Brown got anything to say about it. Fred Brown pulls away for 3. Off. Rebound by Ewing, and that'll do it. Yep, they take a 3-1 lead. Zion had 28 though. Spurs up 3-1, and that is it. 4-1. Nate Archibald, Finals MVP. Tyrese Halliburton, Billy Cunningham, Patrick Ewing, Scottie Pippen, who was the least scorer, had the least points in this 166-point outing. My God. Him and Ewing only combined for 20 of it, and they were their first round and second round picks back to back. They had the last pick in the draft, right? I remember I, orchestrated that pretty well. Brian Shaw retired for no reason. And let's see. Now, Victor is in this draft. Hawks, Mavericks, Rockets, Nuggets, Jazz, and it goes to the Grizzlies. Where were the Grizzlies? They were like 8th, 9th. They went from 9th to 1st. Will they draft Victor? Because I'm allowing them to. They got him. They got Victor. Rockets get Miller. Amon Thompson goes to the Timberwolves. Oh, wow, look at that. His face scans in the official draft class I always use now. Now, the teams are going to have to drop somebody for it to work, but that's for them to decide, not me. I'll throw in an auto-generated draft class. I don't feel like throwing in the next year's one. Let me see. Did they waive? Did they wave back? I don't see anybody waved. At least the players seem to have stayed on the team for now. Here's the All-Stars this year. T-Mac and Melo, real bucket getters, the captains of each team. Wes Unseld wins MVP. Billy Cunningham, 6-man. Bill Russell, DPOY. Mark Dagnall, Coach of the Year. Carl Young, Executive. Shea, Westbrook, Dirk, Julius Erving, and Wes Unseld, first team, second team. There you go. And third team. There you go. Play-in's already done. Know what? Also, Victor's on the Grizzlies made the playoff. I don't even know if he plays. Does he play? Oh my God, he went to Hakeem's team. He's the worst player on the team. He hasn't played since the USA game. Oh, this is the Rising Stars. That's funny. Is that Andrea Bargnani at a 92? Oh man, we are in a timeline. Dirk led the league in scoring. Bill Russell in rebounds. Steve Nash in assists. Chris Paul in steals. Willis Reed in blocks, and so on and so forth. Yeah, Kelly Tripucka. Simulate them playoffs. Screw it. Kings out of here. Pacers, Heat, Jazz, Grizzlies up. Sorry, Victor. Nets, Timberwolves, Nets. Dang. Spurs still in there. I see the Spurs up. The Knicks are out of here. Pelicans, Magic, and Suns. So we have in the conference finals Baron Davis, Penny, Kareem, and Paul Pierce against Paul George, Shea, Shaq, and AK and Bill Sharman. And last year's champions, the Spurs, against the 3-time champions Thunder. Let's see what happens. Conference finals. Thunder smoke them. The Thunder are back in business in Game 7 in Eastern, and Penny Hardaway and the Hornets win. Shaq trying to get Kareem trying to get his first ring again, right? Because he was here. We saw him dominating with Baron Davis. So he was here and lost to I forget who. Game 1 is pretty close, but I think it's gonna go to OKC. They had control. Marcus Johnson 26 and 10. Jerry West 26. Thunder going up again, cooking. 20-point win. Screw it. Oh, Hornets win a game. Hornets win another game. There we go. Forget the stats. We're going to game 5, baby. Oh, Thunder take another one. The second I'm back in Simcast. Wes Unseld 27, and that is it. Thunder NBA champions for the 4th time. Wes Unseld Finals MVP. 4 Thunder rings. 2 Pelicans. A Magic and a Spurs. That is 8 total seasons. You got 2 more to go. Mario Ely retired, or Ellie. Sorry, Ellie. Dang, Landry Fields out of here too. Did all these guys have roster spots or something? Because why did it take this long for them to retire? I guess you know what? They were just overshadowed by all the Asia roster filler, whatever. I'm gonna go back to 40 overalls this time. Also, NBA draft passed, and some dude named Matthew Martin went number 1. Who cares? Oh man, a lot of teams got to cut a player. Let's see. It's gonna be some interesting cuts this year. The Kembe Mutombo Jr. got cut. What the hell? Scoot Henderson waived. Hey, I guess they didn't want the blessing, man. Hey, Victor made it through though, and most of them just Scoot didn't. Season number 9. Team Kevin Garnett and Vince Carter All-Star captains. What the? Shea made his first All-Star appearance. I mean, it says second because it's glitched, but it's first. Rick Barry, most valuable. Mel Daniels, 6-man. Bill Russell, defensive. Jamal Mosley, Coach of the Year. Kenneth Wagner, executive. Russell Westbrook, Shea, Rick Barry, KG, and wasn't Shea on here last year? How did he not make an All-Star team? Here's the second team. Here's the third team. Here's defensive first. Here's defensive second. Get the hell out of here, playing game. Goodbye. How you doing, Leader in scoring was T-Mac. Leader in rebounds was Cowens. Assists, Steve Nash. Steals, Iverson. Blocks, Hakeem Olajuwon. Screw it. Turnovers, Allen Iverson too. He's tied with Chris Paul. Field goal 70 from Wes and Bruce Bowen in 3-point at almost 50. I haven't checked the scoring leaders in a while. Wes Unseld dropped 45. 45 was the most points in the game. The league is very, very talent heavy. So hey, Wizards are out of here. Timberwolves, Warriors, Pelicans, Heat, Hornets, Celtics, Suns, second round. Jazz, Sixers, Magic, Clippers, and we have Cleveland versus Brooklyn. Magic Johnson, Bradley Beal, Chris Middleton, Zion, and Dave Cowens against Russell Westbrook, Larry Bird, George Mikan, Sean Marion, and Allen Houston. You know, some normal faces. And over here, another set of normal faces. Spurs versus Thunder. Two champions, two sets of them. Well, not sets, but whatever. All right, yeah, they both swept. Wow. Magic Johnson, I believe Magic's still looking for his first in the simulation, right? Because he had lost to Scotty. Yeah, they haven't won yet, so I'm rooting for the Nets here. Why not? Game 1 of season number 9. Thunder are gonna smoke them in game 1 by 14. Screw it. Simulate game 2. Why not? Yep, Thunder smoke them. Oh, it was only 2. Screw it. Thunder again, right? Yep, 20-point win, and Thunder not again. Oh my, Nets coming back. 2 wins from Brooklyn. Brooklyn gonna force the game 7? They're cooking crazy. 21-point win. Fred Lewis, Zion, Magic, Beal, Fred Brown. Is it even Fred Lewis? I think it is. Yeah, Freddie Lewis. Game 7 in OKC. The Nets are going crazy, but OKC's still right there. No, they're not. Nets cook enough, and they just came back down 3-1 in the finals. Zion Williamson, Dave Cowens, Bradley Beal, Freddie Brown, Freddie Lewis, Magic Johnson, Glenn Robinson, Chris Middleton, Jerry Sloan. 3-1 comeback. The biggest comeback yet in the finals, I believe, in this whole video. And Magic is finals MVP. He has been competing the entire time. You got to respect that ring. There's some people that still haven't won one, but you know, we've seen a lot of repeats too. Wes Unseld led in playoff scoring out of everybody that went this far, at least. Channing Frye retired. Let me see the Grizzlies. Where's Victor at? Did he get? Oh no, he's right there. 89. He's not even, man. He's not even cracking the rotation, barely. This is going to year number 10. The final year of the simulation. Fix this stuff automatically. Don't care. That's crazy. The Celtics waved Grady over their Asia A-Train. All-star teams in the final year. T-Mac and KG are captains. Anybody new? I don't know. Kevin Love's here. Cliff Hagan's here. A bucket getter. Or am I thinking of, I'm not thinking of Cliff Hagan. I'm thinking of the dude, Paul Arizin, right? On Kobe's team. Wes Unseld wins another MVP. I think he might have the most. Crazily enough, 5 MVPs. Well, 4 in this simulation. Billy Cunningham, 6-man. Bill Russell, DPOI. I think he's won every single one. It's not even on here. It's stupid. Mark Dagnall. God, it sounds stupider than Dangle for something. No, that sounds worse. Russell Westbrook, Shea, KG, Dr. J, and Wes Unseld. I feel like this is the same team for the past 5 years. Second team, third team, fourth team, fifth team. Well, those are defensive, whatever. Simulate the play-in. Goodbye, Suns and Knicks, Timberwolves, and Bucks. No chance of the ring for any of you right now. League leaders this season: Melo in points, Bill Russell in rebounds, Shea in assists, steals was Iverson, blocks was Mourning, Bill Russell, Tyrese Maxey in 3-point percentage. Shout out to Tyrese Maxey. First round: the Pacers, the Celtics, the Rockets, the Spurs, the Wizards, the Thunder, the Jazz, and the Hornets are out of here. And yes, I said the Thunder, who just blew their 3-1 lead and now lost to the Hakeem Olajuwon-led Grizzlies. Oh, and Victor, who's not even playing. Also, Houston got, oh my God, every single matchup in the West was an upset, and there was 2 in the East. Had to get the craziness out of here. Brooke Lopez was the leading scorer for the Rockets as they lost to the Clippers, led by LeBron James, who wasn't really leading much. Utah, T-Mac, Chris Paul, and them were able to beat Bill Walton, Kobe. Actually, no, Utah was the one that lost. Kobe and Bill Walton upset. And then San Antonio, pretty big time team these past few years. They lose to the Tim Duncan, Derrick Rose team. Lastly, last 2 on the East, Celtics, Devin Booker, AD, and them finally made it pretty high up seed in the playoffs, and just to lose to Melo and Oscar. The Pacers got swept. The Donovan Mitchell, Clyde Drexler, and them got swept by Zion, the reigning champions, even though they were the 6th seed. Second round: Pelicans, Magic, Clippers, Sixers, out of here. Every game went to game 7. Beautiful. The Nets able to defeat the Magic, the former champions, the Magic, Wilt Chamberlain. They lose to the current champions, the reigning. Kobe and the Pelicans lost to D-Rose, Tim Duncan, and them. I would like to see a new champion. And LeBron is going to the conference finals for the first time. Wait. No, did I read it wrong? He sold. Oh, he lost in 7. He cooked, but he lost. Hey, well, Hakeem hasn't won a ring either, I don't think. Playing against Tim Duncan, one of them's going to go to the finals for the first time. And the Nets could repeat, or they could let Russell Westbrook and them make it, who also have yet to win one despite being competitive almost every single year. 2-1 in both series, and it is 4-2 Cavs. So we're going to have a new champion. Game 7 in the West, and it is Tim Duncan and the Kings making it in a 40-point Game 7 win, led by Jimmy Butler and Brian Winters. 23. The finals. Sabonis versus Mikan. Tim Duncan versus Larry Bird. Jimmy Butler versus Sean Marion. Drazen versus Allen Houston. And D Rose versus Westbrook. This might be one of the most perfect matchups ever. Larry just like, you know, get into your big men strength bag. Hopefully been in the gym or whatever. Your back ain't hurting like how it was in your regular career. Hell, Sean Marion can guard him if need be, but then you got to guard Jimmy. And that's, yeah, I don't know. You a slow bastard. So that's a very, man, D Rose versus Westbrook prime. Beautiful. All right. Kings win game 1. George Mikan had 28, but well, Westbrook had a triple double and they lost. So yeah, the other team played better. They also run a deeper rotation I just saw. So there's you got to account for that as well. Cavs cooking though in game 2. It looks like they're just going to run away with it. That is a 37-point win. Allen Houston with 22. All right. Game 3 tied 1-1. Could be the best series yet if we just got into the games, if they were close. Not gonna lie, I'm very, oh my God. Hold on. I was about to say I'm, you know, time crunching right now, but hey, wait. I don't know what team Terry's on. Who's taking free throws? Okay, the Cavs are taking free throws. Oh, it is tied. Hey, 29 seconds left, tied. I gotta jump in. Oh my, and the Cavs have the ball. Don't even know how this happened. Marion, the pass into Westbrook. Westbrook guarded by Darren Williams. Westbrook crossover twice to the basket, fouled and misses. A bad foul, but also a good foul because at least he missed. I don't know. Westbrook going to the rim in this game. Hey, this is gonna be rare for that. His first free throw is good. Still a lot of time on the clock for the Kings. Second free throw is also good. They're opting to keep D Rose out for D Will. It feels weird calling him D Will. I haven't heard anybody call him that in decades. Here we go. Sabonis gets it actually. He's gonna dribble the ball, run a pick and roll with Tim Duncan. I love it. This is what I was talking about. Oh my God, but what is he doing? Sabonis gets blocked. What is he doing? Domantas Sabonis in his Kings uniform selling. Just purely selling. Purely. That is one of the worst plays. That could have went so much better. Tim Duncan was open to get a pick and pop. Maybe could have moved in a little bit. Westbrook could have missed that free throw. That wasn't even green. Any chance the Kings do something correct here? That is an insane fumble of a game right there. Jimmy Butler passing the ball. Sabonis going to play point. Sabonis again. Nope. Goes to Tim Duncan. Tim pump fakes it. He takes the... Get me out of here. Get me out of here. Game over. George Mikan at 20. They win. All right. 2-1 lead for the Cavs. And Cavs are going to take a 3-1 lead. Will they blow it like how the Warriors did? We'll see. Wow. They almost blew the lead in the 4th. Let's see. Are they going to blow the lead? Yep. 3-2. Cavs running away with it. And I think that's going to do it. Oh, it's close. But yeah, no, it's over. It's over. Oh my God. It got very close. It's over. Russell Westbrook, finals MVP. What a way to go out. Larry Bird, 25 and 18. And that is it. NBA history. Started off with a Walt Frazier, Wilt Chamberlain ring. Then David Thompson of the Thunder, Jerry West in the Thunder, Jerry West in the Thunder, Bill Walton back-to-back with Kobe, Nate Archibald in the Spurs, the pretty packed Spurs with Scottie Pippen and Patrick Ewing. The multi-time MVP Wes Unseld wins his 4th. Magic Johnson, the Nets come back from down 3-1, and the Cavaliers winning in 6 in a pretty solid series. I wouldn't that play from Sabonis was terrible, dog. This is going to be glitched to hell, but screw it, we'll look at it anyways. Also, any new like playoff scoring record set? No, there's too many players, but hey, Will has 49,000 points now. Karl Malone has 45. Kareem has 45. Oscar has 44. Kobe has 41. LeBron has 40, which he almost already has in real life anyways. Melo has 30. Yeah, it's a lot of scores now. It's a lot of them. Well, can't really look at anything else. You were here. You saw the video. Unless you didn't. Unless you just woke up from your slumber. That is it. It's been real. It's been fun, but it ain't been real fun. Subscribe to this channel if you want to, unless you want to have the luck of Clique Universe Michael Jordan. The pretty crazy risk to take. And see you whenever we hop over to the next portion of the multiverse. Toodaloo. Good.